matches, we will need all of our senior wrestlers and senior parents to please get lined up in the northeast corner of the gym under the Spirit School Award there in the northeast corner of the gym for our senior recognition following our 4 JV matches. Referee stops the action in the first period. Your winner by tech ball for the Kernels, Brandon Wagner. Next up, 132-pounders for Mitchell, Kevin Palmer, and for the Governors, Joey Franks. On deck, also at 132 pounds, Truett Avronic for Pierre, and for Mitchell, Quinn Gregg. Avronic and Gregg, you are on deck. Just so you know the order of events, we're going to do our JV matches here. Then we're going to have our senior recognition, followed by our girls varsity duel, then our boys varsity duel. Stops the action at 1 minute 32 seconds of the first period. Your winner by ball, Joey Franks. Next up, 132-pounders for the Kernels, Quinn Gregg. For the Governors, Truett Avronic. On deck will be our final JV match at 157 pounds. For Pierre, Landon Cronin, and for Mitchell, Ryan Driscoll. Cronin and Driscoll, you are on deck. We need to have all of our senior parents and senior athletes managers please be gathered in the northeast corner of the gym under the Spirit of School Award. Please keep gathered there so we can get lined up as we will be doing our senior recognition following our JV matches. We've got another stoppage by Paul, this time at 42 seconds of the first period. Your winner by bid for the Governors, Truett Avronic. Next up will be our final JV match for Mitchell, Ryan Driscoll, and for Pierre, Landon Cronin. We've got another stop by call. This time that's 1 minute 45 seconds of the first period. Your winner by call at 157 pounds for the Governors, Landon Onan. That will conclude our JV matches. Next up will be our senior recognition. All right, we're going to be taking a short break as we get our parents lined up for the senior recognition. We'll be with you in just a few minutes.
got spots, right?
Or email me at cbriggs25@pi.midco.net to visit about your next project.
Graham Tire of Pierre is your premier hometown shop, specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at grahamtire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
Buying or selling a home is a big decision. You need an expert who knows the market and gets results. Scott Dawn, All At Real Estate in Pierre, brings experience, local knowledge, and a no-nonsense approach to help you navigate every step. Whether you're looking for the perfect home or the best offer, Scott is committed to making the process smooth and stress-free. Ready to make your next move? Call Scott Dawn at 605-220-2676. Peter Real Estate, here with me, broker only.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business, Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet, or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
Olson Plumbing in Pierre provides complete plumbing and drain cleaning services to commercial and residential customers. Olson Plumbing understands how the simple things in life are often the things we can't live without, and running water is the top of the list. Olson Plumbing offers 24/7 emergency services, and they can be at your location in under an hour in most cases. If you need help with your plumbing system, call Olson Plumbing 605-224-6436.
Auto, our legacy is your trust. Whether you're in Mitchell or in Hickok, we embody the values that have defined us for generations. We have been here on the road since 1948.
We bring decades of expertise to ensure your journey begins with you. Our goal is to turn your visit into a memorable experience, leaving you with a smile and peace of mind.
Iverson Auto of Mitchell and Huron are here to make your car ride experience smooth and enjoyable every step of the way. Visit us online at iversonauto.com.
At Jan Hussey Ford and Highmore, they've been building partnerships for life by treating customers right, offering a low-pressure sales process, no haggling over price, passing low overhead savings on, and providing a Ford-certified service department fixing it right the very first time. If you're looking for a new Ford, a quality pre-owned vehicle, a new or used ATV, or a trailer, stop by Jan Hussey Ford and Highmore and experience the difference.
Jan Hussey Ford, partnerships for life.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports is not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Generational success means different things to different people. But to us, it means seeing my daughter, following my footsteps, keeping the farm in the family, just getting to do this every day. We're Agtegra Cooperative, and we're generationally successful. That's who we are. Agtegra Cooperative.
Hey Jesse, I said lunch, huh? I can't find a way to get my whole group in one spot without turning all these friends. You haven't heard of Denwall Transportation? They have luxury seating buses with air conditioning, outlets to charge your phone, and other bus pass for traveling.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, you should check them out. Where can I find them? You can follow them on Facebook or denwalltransportation.com, or hey, let's give them a call at 605-532-3836. Denwall Transportation, let us do the driving.
Allied Plumbing and Heating is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. For our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service. No hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Each day brings the opportunity to make a difference, to follow through with integrity, to solve challenges.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to senior night for our Governor Wrestling team. Tonight we would like to thank the senior wrestlers for their hard work and dedication to the Governor Wrestling program. These seniors can take great pride in building the Governor Wrestling program to where it is today. We would like to also thank their parents for their support that they have given and the countless hours of dedication to their wrestler, as well as all the wrestlers in our program. This time for family
Protect what matters most with the Brittany Shuffle Buying Agency, American Family Insurance. Our personalized insurance solutions ensure you are covered no matter what life throws your way. Home and auto to farm, commercial, and life. We tailor policies to fit your unique needs. With our dedicated team and exceptional service, you'll have peace of mind knowing you're in good hands. Contact the Brittany Shuffle Buying Agency, LLC.
Best of luck in today's competition to the Pierre Governors from Black Sheep Agronomy, your local agronomy experts. Black Sheep Agronomy wants you to have a successful farm plan, and they're focused on products and practices that work in this region. As community members themselves, Tyler, Titus, and Austin support area students who work hard in their school and extracurricular activities. Good luck, Governors, from Black Sheep Agronomy. Call 842-6104 for all your agronomy needs.
Stay in a beautiful Black Hills vacation home, the Summit on Dancing Sky near Leeds, South Dakota, in the popular Powder House Pass development. It's a modern rustic design with over 5,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms, and 5 baths for you to enjoy. You'll get gorgeous views of the Terry Peak Mountain Range. There's a community pool to enjoy, and you're close to all the attractions like Deadwood, Sturgis, Spearfish, and a whole lot more. The Summit on Dancing Sky. Visit them at DancingSky.com.
Now moving on to our boys program. First up, Damon Horsley, son of Jesse and Ray Horsley.
Which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
At Dakota Behavioral Health, we offer comprehensive mental health services, including medication management. With offices in Pierre and Miller, we provide in-person and telehealth appointments to fit your schedule. Whether you're managing anxiety, depression, stress, or other concerns, our compassionate team is here to help. We are currently accepting new clients. So take the first step for better mental health today. Call Dakota Behavioral Health at 605-702-6769 or visit dakotabh.com to schedule your appointment.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances.
Make some noise one more time.
Stay safe. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribe Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
Service Master of Pierre has been proudly serving Pierre and Fort Pierre for over 40 years. They offer professional carpet and upholstery cleaning, post-construction cleanup, residential and janitorial services, and thorough disinfection cleans. Service Master Restore provides expert water, smoke, fire, mold, and odor damage restoration, along with drying, dehumidification, and trauma or biohazard cleanup. When disaster strikes, every second counts. Trust the experts who've been doing it for over 40 years. Service Master of Pierre. Get clean today.
It's on the official home of the Pierre Governors, River 92.7 and DRG Media Group. Governor Sports is brought to you by your Pierre Sports marketing sponsors, Bank West, Beck Motors, Dakota Storm Roofing, Superior Concrete, Live Ticket, Overhead Door, New Edge Advisors, Avera Orthopedics, Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, Kruger Contracting, Century Business Products, and the Brittany Scheffelbein Agency of American Family Insurance. Governor Sports is also sponsored in part by Dakota Mart, TMA, First Dakota National Bank, May Adam Law Office, Edward Jones, Avera St. Mary's Hospital, Wegner Auto, Graham Tire, and by Zander Auto Parts, American Bank and Trust, Kathy Sun and Shine Properties, Oahe Federal Credit Union, the Ramkota Hotel and Conference Center, Tokyo Hibachi and Sushi, Bauman Lumber, Ferding Electric, and Black Hills Federal Credit Union. And coverage of high school sports on River 92.7 is also brought to you by these special in-game sponsors: Bank West, the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, Central Dakota Eye Care, Envirotech, the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection, Rounds Financial Services, Comtech, Coca-Cola Bottling, Wealth Partners Ameriprise Financial, Hermanson Endodontics, Family Dental, Cowboy Country Stores, and Gale's Gas Service of Pierre. And now, Pierre Governor Sports on the official home of the Governors, River 92.7 and DRGnews.com.
Well, thank you very much, and a good Thursday evening, everybody. A night of high school wrestling coming your way as we're getting going a little bit early. There weren't that many JV matches going on here between Pierre and the Mitchell Kernels. The Governor's hosting here at Riggs High Gym. It is senior night, however. The seniors for the girls and the boys and the student managers have all just been recognized, and we expect to have a short break before we get going into varsity wrestling coming up. But we will have an abbreviated Bank West pregame show tonight. We welcome you, though, to our coverage of Pierre Governor Wrestling, the Governor's last home duel of the season outside of the state championship duel tournament, which they will be hosting next weekend. In fact, they will host the Mitchell Kernels here tonight. Governor's girls will have 4 or 5 matches, it looks like, maybe more than that. The boys will also have some matches to get through, and hopefully a fairly full roster for both teams to wrestle tonight in boys wrestling. We'll talk about it, but for those on the road, we remind everybody on behalf of the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety to slow the drive and arrive alive. Buckle up, too. You've got someplace to be. Let's start with a 3-minute timeout. We'll get to our abbreviated Bank West pregame show going. You're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling on your official voice of the Governors, River 92.7 and DRGnews.com.
There when you need them the most. Bank West insurance agents Sam Kennecke and Angie Taylor are here to make your life easier.
As an independent agency, we're able to customize an insurance plan to fit your individual needs.
We work with dozens of companies to find you the best possible coverage and the best price.
For your insurance needs, contact Sam or Angie at Bank West Insurance in Pierre. Bank West, convenient, connected, committed. Insurance products are not deposits, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, and may go down in value.
This winter, Beck Motor Company is your go-to Chevy dealer for automotive needs. From the tough, rugged Chevy Silverado to a versatile Equinox, we've got the perfect ride for every season. Need service? Our expert team is here to keep you cruising through winter with confidence. Beck Motor Company, your trusted local Chevy dealer, proudly serving you with top-notch vehicles, service, and customer care. Stop by today and drive away with a deal you'll love. www.beck-motors.com, 605-224-5912.
Do you love watching high school sports but find yourself wanting to be more involved? LiveTicket.tv has the solution for you. They're looking for production managers to assist for this school year. Duties include the management of equipment as well as basic technological understanding. But don't stress, paid training will be provided. Part-time wages starting at $20 per hour. Call 833-605-LIVE, extension 2. That's 833-605-5483, extension 2. And punch your ticket to joining one of the fastest growing companies in South Dakota.
From the first wails of surprise to first day of school questions, playground adventures, learning to drive stress, and graduation cheers, they'll always be your little sunshine. At Avera Children's, we get kids, teens, and parents too. We'll step you through first checkups, milestones, sickness, and specialized care when your child needs it, and treat them like our own every step of the way. Learn more at avera.org/children's.
Century Business Products is a proud provider of the most reliable Kyocera copiers and printers to the Pierre School District. Backed by 5-time nationally awarded Kyocera servicing team. Are you looking to control color cost? Looking to reduce printers? Are you looking for more efficient ways to scan documents? Or maybe you'd like to become more paperless? Look no further than your local Century Business Products. Call 800-529-1950 and see how they're powering business technology.
From the early days of South Dakota statehood through today's digital revolution, BankWest has remained committed to helping customers and communities succeed. BankWest Associates uphold this commitment by developing innovative products, tailoring financial solutions to customer needs, and actively supporting community causes. For a bank committed to helping you and your community prosper, choose BankWest. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Welcome to our BankWest pregame show. Pierre Governor Wrestling coming right up. The Governor's hosting the Mitchell Kernels to wrap up the regular season dual portion of their schedule. Both of these teams, boys and girls, in fact, will be finishing up their regular season slate of activities at the Yankton Invitational coming up Saturday. I believe the girls wrestle tomorrow in Yankton. The boys wrestle on Saturday. Brian Oakland with you. We've got Caleb Brozick videoing just as we usually have with Live Ticket. You can watch these matches at drgnews.com and the River 92.7 page or on your DRG News smartphone app. And Jordan Blaze runs the show in studio here this afternoon and evening as we bring you Pierre Governor Wrestling. We thank him for stepping in and helping us out tonight. Speaking of stepping in and helping us out, my partner in crime, as usual, John Calda, is here as well. And JW, when we talk keys to success going into this final match, kind of a tune-up, especially for the Governors. They've got a Mitchell team that doesn't fill the roster for girls. They still have a couple of open weight classes for boys. They've had their struggles this season once again, but right now, if you're the Pierre Governors and keys for tonight, it is just to maybe treat this as a tune-up, but still keep your focus on the very near future all of a sudden, because the postseason is right around the corner.
Yeah, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth, and thinking today how we'd start the discussion tonight, and that's exactly what I was thinking in terms of, it seems like both Governors, girls and boys, right now are kind of firing on all cylinders. It's like we've kind of hit that peak at the right time going into the postseason, and not to let down on the Mitchell team what they have right now. Obviously, some good individuals, but as far as the dual wise goes, I think we can probably predict the future and how maybe things are going to go with that. But yeah, for us right now, just get out, take care of business, don't get injured. Obviously, a big part there, and just protect those seeds that we do have. And so obviously, we may have an opportunity to see them again this weekend and down in Yankton, but for tonight, just taking care of business.
Governor boys did win the Brookings Invitational last week, and if I recall, I believe the girls lost to Aberdeen Central. They came up in second place in the Aberdeen Invite, which was last Friday. So we've seen kind of the girls take a step back, and it doesn't look like the team that's going to be a 5-time state champion coming up this season, even though they'll still be there in the mix. But in fact, Aberdeen Central 187 points to Pierre's 162.5 for the girls. So there are some things to improve upon for the girls. Obviously, they're not filling all weight classes for the first time really in 5 years either. But what's the mindset of the girls now? Are they just still in trying to continue in championship mode, or are they just trying to do the best they can and score as many points when the postseason comes around?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things to that. We can look at the Aberdeen tournament, and I still think we're a better team than when it comes into the state tournament time. You get to the bigger tournaments, and maybe you've got a couple more horses that reach the finals. They score a little more points for you, into those bigger tournaments. But for Coach Caven right now, and I think it's always kind of been his purpose this year is just it's the growth and development of the girls. The good thing is you've got the top tier. You've got Ed Lewis and you've got Kesri Benning, who are past that point, and so he's got the knowledge and he's got the will and the kind of the drive to get those girls where they need to be. So for them, it's that championship kind of mentality. And for the other girls, I mean, you look at tonight again, it's just continuously improving. What have they been doing in practice that he wants to see tonight? How are they handling top positions? How are they handling, the stuff on their feet? And then for it's just that gradual approach, going into the, postseason for them.
All right. And for the Governor boys, a good tournament win, not a very, well represented as far as top tier teams go, slate of teams that were at the Brookings Invite, but still some feel good moments for some guys that get tournament victories, and that's giving the Govs a little bit of confidence, but also you kind of wonder about where the injury situation is, and some of these Governor wrestlers, they've had to do a little bit of mixing and matching and maneuvering people into certain weight classes lately.
Yeah, I mean, good thing is it's happening now and not 3 weeks from now. Yep. So, hopefully you can get those guys back in. But, yeah, I mean, to the kind of common fan out there, they obviously see the victory of Brookings. But, a lot of things that come from that weekend was just how much better we looked as a wrestling team, just position-wise and, shot defense and shot offense, reattacks. And, that's the stuff that we've been kind of waiting to see out of this team here. And for them, it's been a gradual approach as well. But again, just kind of one of those things that we're starting to figure that out. And, again, should be seeing some good wrestling here tonight and in the upcoming weeks.
All right, looking forward to it. That's a little bit of keys to success as we get into this final duel of the regular season. Governors hosting the Mitchell Kernels, and keys to success in our broadcast are sponsored by Central Dakota Eye Care. We'll hear from them. Let's pause for 2 minutes, and we'll come back and give you what we can with starting lineups that are coming to you from Envirotech as well. Pure Governor Wrestling is on River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Regular comprehensive eye exams yearly are the key to finding eye problems before symptoms appear. Hi, this is Dr. Mike Bartlett. I've joined the team at Central Dakota Eye Care, continuing to provide the same high-quality care you've come to expect. I've been seeing patients here in Pierre for 30-plus years, and I look forward to welcoming you to my new location. Call us today at 605-224-6128 to schedule your appointment. Central Dakota Eye Care, 640 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Better vision for a great life.
Superior Concrete is proud to sponsor the Governors this season and just as proud to offer the finest concrete solutions available for commercial and residential applications as well as foundation and flat work. The bottom line, if you need anything done with concrete, we can do it. Superior Concrete. Give us a call today for an estimate or more information. That's Superior Concrete. Find us on Facebook or call the office at 605-494-0102. That's 494-0102. Call today.
Chances are you're overlooking a big energy thief in your home or commercial building. The garage doors. But Overhead Door Company of Pierre can help stop that energy waste with a full range of insulated, weather-tight garage doors. Their residential garage doors can give you insulated performance at an uninsulated price. And their Thermocore insulated steel doors give commercial buildings the energy efficiency they demand today. Find out more. Call Overhead Door Company of Pierre at 1-800-649-9905 and put a stop to the garage door energy thief.
From the early days of South Dakota statehood through today's digital revolution, BankWest has remained committed to helping customers and communities succeed. BankWest Associates uphold this commitment by developing innovative products, tailoring financial solutions to customer needs, and actively supporting community causes. For a bank committed to helping you and your community prosper, choose BankWest. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Back at Ringside Gym, it's time for starting lineups in our BankWest pregame show. Starting lineups are brought to you by Envirotech in Pierre, and we'll try to go off the weigh-in sheets as well as what we we're guessing might be happening tonight here as well. As the starting lineups brought to you by Envirotech. Let's take a look at the girls' matchups that we have for you. I'm looking at the Mitchell weigh-in sheet. They weighed in 6 girls here today out of 14 weight classes. It looks like at 100 pounds, the Kernels will be open. Shaylee Speck is listed for the Pierre Governors. At 105, it would be Sydney Caven, the 8th grader for the Governors, but Mitchell will stay open there. At 110 pounds, it looks like Mitchell is open here as well, and Aubrey Fisher is listed for the Governors. Then we get to 115 pounds. Frankie Kranz, a good one for the Kernels, is a junior, 21-7. She will take on Chevelle Brackey of the Pierre Governors, who is a sophomore. At 120 pounds, Gemma Stanglin, the sophomore, will take on Danny Borgia, the senior for Mitchell, who is 19-10 on the season. At 125, Marley Whitaker for the Mitchell Kernels, a sophomore, has weighed in and would be set to take on Cameron Larson, the 8th grader for the Pierre Governors. At 130, Jersey Lewis will show tonight. At 135, Lexi Hilmer for the Governors, and also at 140 pounds, Kesri Benning is slated to at least appear. Mitchell is open at all 3 of those weight classes, though. At 145 pounds, well, they had a player or a wrestler on the program, but not listed in the weigh-in sheet. So Taylor Land is expected to appear for the Governors at 145. Then at 155 should be a good one, is Abby Lewis, the junior for the Governors, who is a 2-time defending state champion, will take on Taylor DeYoung of Mitchell. DeYoung, a senior, and is 23-6. Mitchell competed at the Brookings Girls Invite this past Saturday, and Taylor DeYoung won the championship in that tournament. At 170 pounds, Avery Hillman is here for the Kernels, an 8th grader. She is not expected to wrestle anybody for the Governors, as 170 is an open weight class for Pierre. At 190, Mitchell is open, but Pierre has Briley Pelly, the sophomore. And at 235 pounds, Pierre is open at that weight class. Mitchell has sophomore Kaylin Fick. So those are the starting lineups for the Pierre Governors, who are coached by Ben Caven, assisted by Kyle Seringer, Trevor Lightfield, and Jared Geigel. And for Baker Haar's Mitchell Kernels as well, Baker Haar assisted by Chris Beats, Paul Wilson, and Heather Zins. We'll give you the boys' starting lineups when we come back after this from Envirotech. Envirotech starting lineups do continue. This is Pierre Governor Wrestling.
Envirotech makes life a little bit simpler. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what is handed to you, Envirotech has you covered. One call is all it takes to have easy setup, easy pickup, and easy payment. Call Envirotech at 224-4804 or use their website to pay your bill online at envirotechwaste.com. Use the mobile app Waste Connect. Check their website or receive a robocall for collection schedule due to weather or holidays. Envirotech has you covered.
Envirotech continues starting lineups here for Governor Wrestling. Let's take a look at the boys' face-offs, if you will. At 106 pounds, Noah Horsley, the junior for the Governors, would wrestle sophomore Blaze Savigny for the Mitchell Kernels. At 113 pounds, Daniel Mason of Pierre, the junior, will take on Micah Bennett of Mitchell, an 8th grader. At 120 pounds, Gable Urick, 29-5, the sophomore for the Governors, off of his championship at Brookings over the weekend, to take on Carter Raydell of the Kernels. And at 126 pounds, Giles Auble slated to wrestle for Pierre tonight. The sophomore will take on sophomore Evan Mitchell of the Kernels. At 132 pounds, Walker West, the senior for Pierre, would go against Noah Bennett, the sophomore for Mitchell. They had a 4-3 battle in Brookings over the weekend, so it should be a good one there. At 138 pounds, Rowdy Minning, the senior for Pierre, to take on Taven Redday of Mitchell, a sophomore. At 144, Alex Odekoven, 33-1 on the season, the senior for Pierre, against Evan Hirsch, the sophomore for the Kernels. At 150 pounds, Jordan Schaefer, a junior for the Governors, who is 28-5, would take on Carson Odell of the Mitchell Kernels. That's at 150. Then at 157, Damon Horsley of Pierre the senior, will go against Samari Wright, the junior, for Mitchell. At 165, Porter Hunsley of Pierre would be listed, but Mitchell appears to be open at that weight class. Then at 175, Will Eilers, the sophomore for the Governors, will take on senior Caden Allen of the Mitchell Kernels if they are able to get him in there. Actually, Allen did not weigh in today, so we may not have a match at 175 either. At 190 pounds, Alec Eilers of the Governors, the sophomore, goes against, I believe, Garrett Dumas of the Mitchell Kernels. At 190, then at 215, Kalo Steely, the junior for Pierre, against Mason Fosness of the Mitchell Kernels. And at 285, Devin Binger, the heavyweight for the Governors, against a good one in Rocky Clark, the junior for the Mitchell Kernels. That's the starting lineups for the boys. And again, the Mitchell boys also coached by Baker Haar and his assistant coaches. Same for the girls. The Governor boys coached by Sean Lewis in his 14 years now, something like that, maybe 12. Jevin Keys, Kirby Cronin, Eric Williams, and Chad Urig, among others, are the assistant coaches for the Pierre Governors. Those are your starting lineups, brought to you by Envirotech in Pierre. Tonight's game official, the mat official, the law on the mat, is Chris Dozark, veteran official for the from the Pierre area, as he will be officiating all of our matches tonight. Our mat official, the law on the mat, and we thank all officials for doing a thankless job in officiating high school sports, brought to you by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office and their Division of Consumer Protection. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we're wrestling when we come back. You're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling on your official voice of the Govs, River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Do you dream of a custom home built within your budget and done on time? Kruger Contracting can make that dream a reality. They're a trusted home builder since 2003, and they're going to be upfront and open about cost and transparent about where your money is going when it comes to your new home. Their skilled crew will manage construction of your new home from start to finish. They're located in Pierre and can build your home in Pierre, Fort Pierre, or the surrounding area. Call 605-222-2523. Visit KrugerContracting.com or find Kruger Contracting on Facebook.
I'm Scott Nye. As a coach for the Pierre Governors, I know a winning game plan is crucial. When it comes to your finances, you deserve one too. At New Edge Advisors, our name is new, but our commitment to you isn't. We're the same trusted team you've known, and we've expanded our playbook of resources to help you plan for retirement, manage investments, and protect your future. Let's build the strategy that gets your financial future into the end zone.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor. New Edge Advisors LLC is a separate entity from LPL Financial.
Comtech has your technology solutions. Check out their showroom located right off the truck route on Irwin Street. Come in and see what you've been missing. A large selection of TVs, sound systems, and smart speakers, PCs, desktops, and tablets, home and business security and telecommunication systems. Comtech is your all-in-one solution for any technology needs. Wishing all athletes the best of luck in today's competition. Comtech. Come see what you've been missing.
Well, we've got face-offs going on back here at Riggs High Gym. Welcome aboard once again, Brian Oakland, along with John Calda. And again, face-offs going on for the girls. The boys will come out a little bit later on, and we'll have the boys face-offs. So we still have a little bit of time to discuss some things. And I think one thing that is just a reminder of what's to come for both, for the rest of the season schedule. And this coming weekend, again, is the Yankton Invitational, and that's pretty much usually the way the Governors have closed out their season. Mitchell is going there as well, and again, I think the girls are wrestling tomorrow. The boys will wrestle on Saturday. But after that, that brings us to the following weekend, which is February 13th and 14th. And once again, for the second year in a row, Riggs High Gym is going to host the state dual tournament. The B teams, the top 8 teams in Class B, will wrestle on Friday, February 13th, for the state dual tournament, and the boys for the Class A, will wrestle on Saturday. And we will have coverage of the Pierre Governors in their 3 matches, hopefully 3 matches from that event. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Let's pause for 2 minutes one more time, and we wrestle. When we come back, you're listening to Governor Wrestling.
Dakota Storm Roofing is a locally owned roofing company in Pierre, specializing in both residential and commercial roofing services. They can handle your asphalt shingle, metal roofing, and flat roof needs. New construction, plus all types of roof repairs. They can handle the finishing touches, adding fascia, soffit, and gutters too. No job is too big or too small. For a free estimate, call Dakota Storm Roofing at 280-9794. Go to dakotastormroofing.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre is here for you. They make it easy when looking for a new vehicle, getting all available vehicle information so you can spend less time researching and more time enjoying your purchase. Shop their extensive inventory from home at capitalcityfordtoyota.com or stop into Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Count on them for all your service needs with convenient scheduling and in-stock parts. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre, 605-224-7378.
At American Family Insurance, we help protect what you've achieved so you can fearlessly go after your dreams. For auto, home, business, and life, contact us today. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance, Life Mutual, Standard of Ohio and Wisconsin Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53783.
Call the Brittany Scheffelbein Agency, LLC, with offices in Pierre, Oneida, and Gettysburg.
Dakota Storm Roofing is a locally owned roofing company in Pierre, specializing in both residential and commercial roofing services. They can handle your asphalt shingle, metal roofing, and flat roof needs. New construction, plus all types of roof repairs. They can handle the finishing touches, adding fascia, soffit, and gutters too. No job is too big or too small. For a free estimate, call Dakota Storm Roofing at 280-9794. Go to dakotastormroofing.com or find them on Facebook or Instagram.
Back once again at Riggs High Gym, as we still have formalities going on down on the mat as the flipping of the token to figure out who will present first, as we're getting set for Governor Wrestling. Girls will go first, and again, may only have a handful of matches here, but a handful is better than none at all. And the Governor boys and the Kernel boys will be coming up a little bit later on. Again, Brian Oakland with John Calda. Comtech sponsors our opening match tonight. Shaylee Speck coming out to report. Mitchell does not have a wrestler, so Pierre will win with a forfeit here. And by the way, we invite you to listen for our Right on the Money highlight plays, highlight maneuvers, if you will, when given the opportunity. Right on the Money highlight plays are brought to you by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. That's the Right on the Money part. And Rounds Financial Services in Pierre. Mosaic Wealth member, SIPC. Aubrey Fisher comes out and has an open weight class, so another forfeit here, as we are just going 6 at a time for the Governors. Now we'll go to 115 pounds, and we'll have our first match of the night, our Comtech handshake. And for the Governors, it's Chevelle Brackey. And Chevelle comes right after Frankie Kranz. Kranz, an experienced wrestler for the Mitchell Kernels. She is a junior, 21-7 on the season, and now she has taken control after Brackey was the aggressor early on. You know, Brackey was up over on top, but Kranz still has the hold. No, Brackey comes and rolls her over. So 3-point takedown plus a near fall, and now Chevelle Brackey has Frankie Kranz on her back. Already excitement here. Brackey does not have the experience that Kranz does, but Chris Dozark is looking to see if two shoulders are on the mat.
Right there.
Here at the top of the circle, again, you can watch the action as potentially dangerous comes up with a technicality that'll go to Frankie Kranz. That'll be a penalty point awarded to Kranz, but 4 back points after a 2-point reversal for Brackey, who took a 6-5 lead after Kranz had the opening maneuver. Now Ben Caven is asking for clarification. Doesn't take long sometimes to see a difference of opinion here, Coach.
Now, a little bit different angle there. And again, we weren't able to see really what was going on the backside with that. But, man, what a pretty exciting start here. You kind of go back and take a look at Brackey. You've already said it, pretty inexperienced. But there's been a lot of talk about her amongst the coaches and kind of the wrestling family here for a while. And, man, it's a girl that would have started a couple years ago. And, man, I think we'd be seeing some fireworks out of her so far. But just a little bit of inexperience. Things that I think she's going to go back and take a look at here. She could do a little bit differently, but love seeing the first period how she's been wrestling.
6-6 tie in the first minute. Now on the reset, 10 seconds gone by, 50 seconds to go. First period, again, first match wrestled. The Governors get three forfeit victories right off the bat. And it looked off of that reset that Brackey might have lost position, but she was able to regain it. But again, Frankie Kranz, along with Danny Borgia, who we'll see at 120 pounds, a couple of runner-up finishes in the girls' Brookings Invitational here. Brackey working on that left arm, trying to wrap it around behind. Get a little chicken wing motion going here, but unable to hold that. And an exciting first minute of this first period, but not much happening since the reset. And that first period comes to an end. So once again here, a lot of teams are going to have great coaching, great teaching, things like that. But that's just one thing that the girls program, I think, of the Governors has excelled since girls wrestling started up.
Yeah, and we're seeing that with Coach Caven here. I mean, he's very drill specific and just working on good positioning at all times. And
takedown for Kranz here, by the way.
Yeah,
but is he going to be able to hold it?
No, and I still think he's calling it a little bit early in that situation. I know Coach Caven thinks the same thing there. That I know there's a split second where we're halting a little bit of movement there, but every single one of those, Brackey's been able to come out, hit a reversal. And so maybe let that play out a little bit more and maybe our favor next time. But, yeah, we'll see what happens here if we get back in the position.
Yeah, so that was 3 for Kranz, now 2 for Brackey on a reversal. We've got a 9-8 score and whistle coming up with blood. We'll have a timeout here. A stoppage of play on the wrestling mat. Stoppages of play in Governor broadcasts on River 92.7 are brought to you by Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. So let's get back to the point that we were making here. And the turnover in the coaching ranks here when Matt Thorson left, of course, to go to West Central and had a successful football program this season. But Ben Caven taking over, and here he is teaching Chevelle during this blood timeout for Frankie Kranz. And, he's a good guy to take that program over.
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to work with him for the last couple of years down in the middle school program when he, made the trip over to Pierre, and just a vast wealth of knowledge when it comes down to it, and, kind of like-minded mindsets in just terms of just the drill aspect of things and just working something over and over and over again. And that was my point I was going to bring up about Chevelle, was that when you see her in that top position, you're going to see some, terms of wrestling, good riding, and just keeping hips back and just, keeping pressure forward. And that's exactly what they've been going over almost every single day in that practice room.
All right, the restart here after that blood timeout comes to an end. Again, stoppages from Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. And as Brackey tries to bring Kranz back over, she's got Kranz on her back, and a win by fall. Chevelle Brackey, in a time of 2 minutes and 58 seconds, I would venture to say, pulls the upset here, and the Governors get a big win by fall. Frankie Kranz loses for just the 8th time this season. Brackey Another thing I wanted to say, Coach, is as she came back out, you can see she's got some upper body strength, and I think she displayed that in getting Kranz spun back over or taken back over. She just literally just kind of threw her onto her back. As we move on up to 120 pounds, Gemma Stanglin is out for the Pierre Governors, the sophomore, against Danny Borgia, another experienced wrestler here, but Stanglin will come around from behind. A little quickness there to get the 3-point takedown. They never did go to the mat, but she was in control. Borgia quickly back out, so a 1-point escape, and Stanglin leads 3-1. Now Borgia comes after Stanglin and gets her to the mat for a 3-point takedown and a 4-3 lead. Borgia, like Frankie Kranz, placed second at the Brookings invite. Again, the Pierre girls went to Aberdeen on Friday, did not wrestle in Brookings on Saturday. Now Borgia slips, and there it is, a 2-point reversal as Stanglin takes advantage. And she'll take a 5-4 lead right back. See how she can hold it and see what kind of work she can do up top here. Saw what Brackey was able to do working in the up. Now Stanglin, as Borgia gets to her feet, Borgia just steps right back around, had a quick reversal, but Stanglin quickly out. We're scoring quickly in both of these first two matches of the evening. 6-6 now, 35 seconds to wrestle, first period. Governors in black and white and green singlets. Mitchell, black and yellow. As you watch the action here, Borgia gets a leg up and is able to spin Stanglin back to the mat for 3 points and another takedown. And again, the scoring going quickly. Stanglin quickly back up to her feet. Borgia couldn't hold it. 9-7, high scoring first period. Be high scoring if it was still the old rules of scoring this. There's a lot happening here back and forth. A seesaw wrestling effort. But again, we can go back to that Chevelle Brackey move that she was able to put on Frankie Kranz. We'll call that a highlight play. Right on the money with Chevelle Brackey. Highlight plays when Governor wrestlers are on the money. Brought to you by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. Borgia takes the down to start our second period. Quickly on her feet, Stanglin hanging on. As you watch this one, you'll see the Governor letter P logo upside down on the black mat with a green circle in the middle. Borgia has taken a 2-point reversal now. She ups her lead to 11-7 now, as we're 30 seconds into period number 2.
We'll take a look at some of the small things in this match right now, and I'm guessing Coach K will go back and talk to Stanglin about this, but every time that Stanglin's been on top, Mitchell Girl's been able to get to her feet. Well, she's attacking basically a single leg. Every time she's given up a reversal on that situation, maybe one of those times we just, choose to go both up. That'd be 11-9 score right now, 9-7 score instead of 11-7. Puts her within reach with just a simple takedown. So, again, I think he'd like to see a little bit more top pressure out of her, on that top position yet, but just those little kind of small things that can really help you when it comes to that postseason.
So now Borgia still working near the top of the circle. Stanglin quickly to her feet, but quickly put back to the mat. And now Gemma gets up and gets out for a point on the escape. Make it 11-8. Danny Borgia's she's a young lady that's been around the Mitchell program as long as anybody has since girls wrestling started in South Dakota. I don't recall that Mitchell had a team right away, but when they did, after a year or two, Borgia showed the ability. It looks like she slipped up a little bit here, and Stanglin takes advantage and gets a 3-point takedown to tie this match up at 11-11. 5 seconds to go here, and Stanglin just needs to hang on and get to that third period. A job well done there. She picked an opportunity.
And I'll correct you on that a little bit. If you ever actually watch Stanglin's defense, it's pretty phenomenal. On a shot like a high crotch, she's actually popping her hips in, but she's knocking that Mitchell girl off of her base, so that way she's not able to finish that. She wasn't able to get to that, her early shots when the Mitchell girl was scoring, but that time it was finally working. It's kind of one of those things you just want to meet them halfway, try to knock them kind of off their momentum and score, and she's able to get her hips back. A great defense there.
All right, so Stanglin starts the third period, her choice, and she goes to the down position. She was able to get an escape late in that second period and eventually get that takedown. So we're at 11-11. And Borgia's going to let her up briefly, but now can't get anything else going. So Stanglin takes the lead with a 1-point escape. 12-11. Second match of the night that's actually wrestled, and we've got action already. If they're keeping track of the dual score, by the way, Pierre does have a 24-0 lead. Forfeit wins for Pierre from Shaylee Speck, Sydney Caven, and Aubrey Fisher. Chevelle Brackey with a win by fall over Frankie Kranz. And here going to the third period, Stanglin and Borgia. 1 minute to go. Stanglin leading 12-0, and since they are 12-11 rather, and since they've gotten back to their feet, really nothing has happened. Stanglin catches the shot and just shoves Borgia aside. Got her wrapped up from behind, but not enough to get the takedown. Now another shot by Danny Borgia of the Kernels, and now a throw. Trying to get down on top. Nothing yet. And there it is, 3-point takedown for Borgia, as she'll take the lead 14-12. 30 seconds to go. Third period. Stanglin up and out. Give her one. She'll come right back at a 14-13 deficit. 15 seconds left. She's got a leg up.
She's got to get it outside her body here, though, to make it count.
Tried to trip her up once. Borgia's leg still up. Stanglin trying to trip that leg on the floor and get it out of there. 2 seconds, one, and they stayed in bounds, and it's a win for Danny Borgia at 14-13. What a match.
Man.
Back and forth. Kernels will get 3 on the board, but Danny Borgia, a hard-fought win. Gemma Stanglin, a great effort, but she will suffer the loss. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll move on when we return with more Pierre Governor Wrestling.
Taking care of your vehicle since 1980, TMA and Pierre has been serving Central South Dakota for over 42 years. Owners Bruce and Brenda Lounsbury, owners of the Ultimate Tire Store, have been taking care of customers at TMA for over 30 years. TMA, your hometown-owned business, offers quality service and products. Tires, mufflers, alignments, oil changes, brakes. Call 605-224-6167. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. TMA, next to the Northridge Plaza in Pierre.
At First Dakota, we don't like to brag about ourselves. So when Forbes named us South Dakota's best bank again, we faced a dilemma. Thankfully, we have the state's best customers, so we're happy to brag about them instead. After all, they inspire us every day. The farmers, the business owners, the families. Without them, we'd be just another bank. So thank you to all of our amazing customers. We wouldn't be here without you. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Back at Rick's High Gym off of this break. Now we're at 125 pounds. I was thinking we had a couple of open weight classes coming up, but we do have one at 125. And Cameron Larson, the 8th grader for the Pierre Governors, as we speak, 1 minute and 2 seconds in, is able to get Marley Whitaker of the Kernels on her back, and that is a win by fall for Cameron Larson. And I guess just give us a recap on how she was able to make that happen here, John.
Well, first, I was going to talk about just, Coach Caven would be pretty humble about this. We're seeing the Coach Caven effect tonight in terms of what he's been able to do with these girls. And you go back to the Stanglin match, just the high level. We're kind of getting to that stage right now where those girls are wrestling some pretty high level stuff. And what we've been kind of waiting to see out of them, and just the shot defense we've seen out of Larson there was just a great re-attack. Girl kind of hit a shot. She did a little down block on it, was able to hit a re-attack sack on her and went right to a cradle butcher situation. And just, again, things we're seeing out of, kids that have wrestled for 12 or 13 years, and these girls are doing this after, possibly 1 or 2 years in the room. And it's just been fun watching tonight so far.
Absolutely. So a good start here for the Governors. Mitchell has 1 win. The Governors are running off 3 open weight classes for forfeit victories in a row. Taylor Anderson reported for Pierre at 130 pounds and earns a forfeit win with Mitchell open. Also, the Kernels open at 135 and 140. So forfeit victories for Lexi Hilmer and for Kesri Benning. Taylor Land is facing an open weight class at 145. So the Governors continue to tack on the points 6 at a time. Now we go to 155 pounds, and this, again, should be a good one. Here comes Abby Lewis for the Governors, the junior, as she takes on Taylor DeYoung, the senior, fresh off of a championship in the Brookings Invitational. DeYoung's record 23-6 on the season. And Abby Lewis has continued to cruise along over the course of the season as well. Lewis with the first move with DeYoung up and down. And a 3-point takedown for Abby Lewis. Lewis herself coming off a victory in the Aberdeen Invitational. The junior is 22-1 on the season. And she had 3 pins, including one in the championship, and also a 12-0 major decision in her 4 matches in that tournament.
In a world we've seen in terms of wrestling, flashiness, right? Everybody kind of wants to learn the next move and, get the exposure on social media these days. It's been, probably even more fun tonight just watching some good basic style wrestling. And again, that's what we just seen out of Abby there. Just a simple little snap down, go behind. It's great to know those basics still work in a match. Especially we start looking at 2 highly credible wrestlers here.
And obviously, you look at what we've seen from Mitchell. They're not filling the weight classes. They do have junior varsity wrestlers. They've got wrestlers in the room, about 14 girls in their room right now. But the experience that they have. I mean, these are state place finishers that we've seen for the most part. And Kranz and Borgia now, DeYoung. Obviously, they're getting something, and they're starting that foundation, even though they have been around for a few years. But still, the foundation is there once again in that Mitchell wrestling room.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit with a lot of these teams. It's not, the team may be down, but they still got the quality of, some quality kids in there. We'll see that with the boys' side instead of the girls' side. And I'd be kind of interested to see what their actual schedule, is. Are the girls actually in the room with the guys? Are they getting the same kind of technique, the same kind of, practice in terms of, just, the kind of getting after it, or are they actually getting them a little bit more on, one-on-one and starting to get some of that basic technique that, I think a lot of girls needed. Either way, we've talked about how this girls sport in terms of South Dakota is going to develop and keep getting better, and it is. And we're seeing that tonight.
Had a stoppage of wrestling here with potentially dangerous. I thought, well, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was potentially dangerous, but Abby Lewis still in control. The restart has 5 seconds to go. Not much happening. And Lewis staked to a 3-0 lead with the only takedown in that first period. The last time we covered wrestling, a couple of weeks ago, Governors hosted T-Area and Watertown in a triangular, and Abby had 2 real impressive victories, wrestling up to 170 pounds out of the 155-pound weight class on that particular night. She starts in the up position and trying to force that right arm with moderate discomfort, or whatever we call that.
Temporary discomfort.
Temporary discomfort.
Yeah. And it's, just the difference between girls and guys wrestling too. I think you do see a lot of more flexibility, within the girls. And so a simple half like that, where you got a guy maybe a little bit more muscular, maybe be able to get a turnover. Some of these girls are able to get out of those situations just due to that flexibility that they have.
Another stoppage here from Chris Dozark, and I guess it's the headgear of Taylor DeYoung that has come loose at times. So another reset. DeYoung will get up and get out for a 1-point escape. And now suddenly a burst of life here for the Mitchell wrestler. But Abby Lewis will just stick that right arm out and around and suddenly come back in control for another 3-point takedown. And Lewis on the bottom of the circle. Now they'll be out of bounds. Little danger of losing control there for Abby.
Yeah, we've seen that out of a couple Mitchell wrestlers tonight. I'm guessing that's something Coach Caven will pick up on a little bit here, but they kind of like to run a roll out of our tight waist, and we've seen that with Bracky's match. Just again, not really knowing a situation, and there again with Abby. So something to kind of take note of, and how you're controlling your opponent from the top position and where arms and hands need to be.
And Abby just gradual force here to get DeYoung back on the mat and to her back near the edge, but Lewis has plenty of the body inbounds here. 3 points on a takedown, 9-2 the updated score in this match. 30 seconds to go. We're in the second period, and Lewis will end up out of bounds as well, but that after a 4-point near fall. So Abby Lewis much in command now at 13-2. Lewis, a state champion of the freshman and sophomore seasons, and is top ranked here at 155 this year as well. But again, DeYoung was able to come out on top in Brookings this past weekend, and a fine record coming in 23-6 after that tournament. DeYoung was up, but Lewis puts her back to the mat face down as we enter the 10-second short time mode of the second period. And Lewis will put the forearm to the back of the head just to inflict a little more temporary discomfort at the end of that second period. Might have to get a T-shirt with that phrase on
There's probably one out there. We'll see if we can't get it up for the state tournament.
To start the third period, we do have a blood timeout. Abby Lewis with some blood that apparently they're working on the arm, and redoing the elbow apparatus here. This is a play stoppage. It's brought to you by Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. Injury timeout. Now, JW, they're working on this left elbow brace, and I know Abby's had a constant elbow issue, especially since this past summer. We've seen it from a lot of wrestlers, but I was curious at first as they were readjusting that if she didn't have a little pain in that elbow. It's what baseball pitchers have as a UCL tear or something like that. It really doesn't help to, as Coach Lewis has told me, Abby's dad, of course, but that it, surgery doesn't necessarily help in the wrestling standpoint. It's not like you're trying to throw a baseball or anything like that. So these wrestlers have just kind of gutted it out, and they'll let it kind of heal itself.
Yep, and that's kind of what you, end up doing, especially where you're at the state or the status of the season right now. It's just a little pain you might have to kind of deal with here and there. And
Lewis on her back here as DeYoung has rolled her over. Now Abby is able to twist back to face down, but Taylor DeYoung is the one inflicting some more temporary discomfort this time. 4-point near fall, but the penalty point will go to Abby Lewis. So DeYoung was able to get a takedown +4, a 7-point move to close the gap to 14-9. Now they add the penalty point to Lewis, and it's 15-9. They'll go neutral on a restart just outside of a minute to wrestle here in the third period. And Lewis coming back.
Yeah. And that was going to be my point the whole time. She tried to go to a little bit of a whip motion on that one takedown. Well, if the girl knows how to defend that, there's a good chance you're going to get put to your back. And this is what I think, Coach Cave and myself were hoping to see out of her was just a good little defense, just a nice little down block, and just go ahead in the hole and score your three from there.
3-point takedown for Lewis. 18-9. The margin is back to a major decision here with 30 seconds to go. It's the thing about Lewis, though. I mean, and truly, it's you may be down, but you're never out.
Daughter must be listening in Watertown tonight. She found us a T-shirt with "Pain is temporary," so maybe
it's not pain we're talking about. It's discomfort.
Yeah, I know. She's looking for us.
10 seconds to go, and after a 1-point escape for Taylor DeYoung, it's 18-10, as Abby Lewis is going to be able to finish this match off with that margin. A major decision victory for Abby Lewis, not without some excitement. The Governors lead 58-3. Let's take let's see how things pan out. We may have 3 open weight classes for each team coming up. Mitchell is going to report at 170. Avery Hillman, an 8th grader, after the Brookings invite, just 6-13 on the season, but the Governors are open at 170 pounds. So Mitchell gets 6 here to make it 58-9. The Governors will win at 190 as Briley Pelly will report to an open weight class for the Kernels. And then at 235, where the Governors are open again, Kaylin Fick, a sophomore for the Kernels, will pick up a forfeit victory as well, and that'll run our course here for the girls' weight classes. And this first duel will come to an end. By my stat sheet, final score in this one, 64-15 on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard, sponsored by Gales Gas Service in Pierre. Let's take a 3-minute timeout. We'll come back, get toward boys wrestling coming up as we continue with Governor Wrestling, your official voice of the Governors, River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
They're dreamt, they're planned, they're discovered. At Northern State University, futures are the result of hard work and grit. NSU is an academic powerhouse with a spirit of exploration and genuine support, where professors know your name and push you to discover what you're truly capable of. But don't take our word for it. When you experience Northern, you'll see the difference here.
The Best Western Ramkota Hotel in Rapid City supports all South Dakota student athletes and their families. They are conveniently located off Interstate 90, close to downtown and minutes from the beautiful Black Hills. The Ramkota offers sports and family-friendly rates. Guests can relax for free in the indoor water park. They have 36,000 square feet of banquet and meeting space, and the award-winning Minerva's Restaurant and Bar is located on site. Best Western Ramkota welcomes everyone to beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota.
The DWU Culver's Classic is back for 2026.
3 from the corner, good! A huge
36 teams travel to the world's only Corn Palace in Mitchell. Action begins on 9 a.m. on February 13th and 14th, with all games streamed on Live Ticket TV on pay-per-view. $12.99 per game or $94.95 for all 18 games. The 2026 DWU Culver's Classic, February 13th and 14th, inside the world's only Corn Palace and on Live Ticket TV.
Need a boost? Want to start feeling better? Atlas Chiropractic in Winter now offers hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This state-of-the-art treatment increases tissue oxygen levels by over 1,200%, helping boost the body's natural healing processes by more than 70%. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy can help with sports injuries, nerve and brain injuries, including concussions, vascular and blood vessel issues, fibromyalgia, and other inflammatory conditions. This treatment is FDA approved and research proven. Visit Atlas Chiropractic in Winter, home to one of the few heart chambers in the state of South Dakota. Call today and start maximizing your healing.
With our new online loan application, you can go to our website and apply for a loan when it's most convenient for you. We make getting loan approval fast and easy. Our local lenders are available to assist you if you have any questions. We make it pain-free to get that loan you've been wanting. We're an equal housing lender. Oahe Federal Credit Union, your hometown credit union since 1955. Federally insured by NCUA.
Here's a quick heads up from the parts team at Grossenberg Implement. John Deere SD polyurea grease is on sale this month at all 9 Grossenberg Implement locations. Save 10%. This multifunction grease is perfect for your baler, planter, tractor, gator, mower, and just about anything around the farm. It's an easy way to stock up now and be ready before the season gets busy. Stop in and see the parts staff at Grossenberg Implement and load up on John Deere SD polyurea grease before this offer expires on February 28th.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free.
What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
When you're thinking friends of the Mitchell Kernels, it's a win by fall for Brackey, 2 minutes and 58 seconds, and that gave the Governors a 24-0 lead. We had fireworks also throughout the 120-pound match where Gemma Stanglin and Danny Borgia go the distance, and Borgia just a 1-point victory, 14-13, high scoring, both wrestlers able to score on each other, but Borgia outlasts Stanglin for the 14-13 victory, giving Mitchell 3 on the board at 24-3. Then Cameron Larson comes back, and the 8th grader at 125 pounds gets a win for the Governors by fall over Marley Whitaker, the sophomore of Mitchell, in 1 minute and 2 seconds, making it 30-3. And the Governors add 4 forfeits after that with open weight classes. With wins for Taylor Anderson, Lexi Hilmer, Kesri Benning, and for Taylor Land up through 145 pounds. Then at 155, that last match that we just had, Abby Lewis with an 18-10 major decision victory over Taylor DeYoung. DeYoung's 7th loss of the season against 23 victories. The Governors added 4 there and led 58-3. Open weight classes for both teams the rest of the way. One of the teams the rest of the way. Mitchell gets 2 forfeits at 170 for Avery Hillman and at 235 for Kaylin Fick. The Governors get a forfeit victory for Briley Pelly at 190 pounds, and Pierre wins at 64-15. So for the Governors, moving on. And by the way, we'll talk about players of the game a little bit later on. Once the boys are done, we'll cover the boys and the girls players of the game at the same time, and the big plays of the match as well. But obviously big plays for Pierre. There's not a lot to talk about because of all of the open weight classes. They were going to win that duel regardless, but certainly have the player of the game, and we can touch on it here, John Calda, but the way Chevelle Brackey came out and not only impressed, but if not amazed. I mean, just immediate improvement this season from a young, inexperienced wrestler for the Governors.
Yeah, one, I mean, you bring in the strength, right? We kind of, take a look at her on the mat. Obviously, that's something that she has a lot of, but just body position and mat awareness. The Mitchell girl was taking multiple opportunities, try to throw headlocks on her, and just kind of getting her out of position, and just that mat awareness of where she needed to be. And she did get some back points out of that, but was able to again come out on top in a couple of those situations. And again, we probably go back and take a look at some of those even takedowns, maybe a little bit questionable with how quick she was able to come out of that situation. But yeah, I mean, you take a look at her, you take a look at Stanglin, even in her loss tonight. These girls they're proven, and their shot defense is there. We talk about the basics of wrestling, and that's what we're seeing out of those girls right now. It's a pretty simple game if you really want to, believe into it in terms of, hitting good shots, reattacks, shot defense, stuff like that. And that's what we're seeing out of those girls right now.
So a good win for the Governors. As we move on to the boys, they've got face-offs coming up here. We have given you the starting lineups a little while ago, so we've done that. Let's take another 2-minute break, and we're wrestling with the fellas. When we come back here at Riggs High Gym, you're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling on River 92.7, live streaming at drgnews.com.
Tokyo Japanese Cuisine, conveniently located in the Northridge Plaza, prepares authentic Japanese fare, including hibachi and delicious sushi. They're a great choice for eat-in or takeout in the Pierre area. Tokyo Japanese Cuisine, they're known for their variety in taste and high-quality fresh ingredients. So experience the friendly atmosphere and excellent service. Open at 11 a.m. Monday through Saturday, noon on Sundays, and for carry-out orders, call 605-494-3388.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're in the business of improving lives. That means ditching the fees big banks charge, offering cash back to do more of what you love, and boosting convenience with extended service hours Monday through Saturday. Bank how you like, when you like, with local financial advice when you need it. Let's get started. Learn more at bhfcu.com. Stop by any BHFCU location or call us at 1-800-482-2428.
For reliable, safe, efficient, and economical electrical work, call Ferding Electric. Ferding Electric staffs licensed, knowledgeable electricians to help you with all your electrical projects. New construction, rewires, or upgrades, residential or commercial, Ferding Electric knows how to get the job done right. Call Ferding Electric at 224-8684. Stop in at 2903 East Elizabeth, just off the truck bypass. See Ferding.com or find them on Facebook. Ferding Electric, licensed electricians, quality service, and dependable products since 1956.
Ameriprise Advisors can work with you to provide personalized, goal-based advice based on your short and long-term goals. Plus, you can track your investments and financial solutions with our digital tools and regular meetings. Call Ameriprise Financial Advisor Angie Teason with Wealth Partners, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, LLC, at 605-224-6777. That's 605-224-6777. Office is located at 740 East Sioux Avenue, Pierre, South Dakota. Ameriprise Financial Services, LLC. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Back at Rick High as the face-offs continue. A couple of open weight classes at 165 and 170. 175 rather coming up for the Kernels. The Pierre and Mitchell coming up. Governors are 8-3 in duels on the season. They're 6-2 within the ESD. And Mitchell, just 2-13 on the season. They actually are winless in 8 matches, 8 duels against ESD opponents. So they will try to finish things off here. And again, for Mitchell, and more or less on an individual basis, they're looking to try to get things going into the postseason. Mitchell will not be in the state dual tournament next weekend. The Governors will. Right now, Pierre is sitting in the 4 seed and would have a first-round matchup against Watertown, who is the number 5 seed, if all of the PowerPoint rankings and everything stay the way it is right now. But as Mitchell would be off next weekend after the Yankton Invite this weekend, you'd be looking at Region 3A competition, which the Kernels are hosting in a couple of weekends in their brand new school gym. So they do have that to look forward to as well. And, of course, the Governors will be there. We'll be reporting on Region 3A results and things like that on February 21st on KGFX AM. And then, of course, coverage as usual from the state wrestling tournament in Sioux Falls this year, February 26, 27, and 28. We start at 106 pounds and we're underway as Noah Horsley, the junior for the Governors, takes on Blaze Savigny of the Mitchell Kernels. He is a sophomore, and these two are out and at it, still trying to get each one to the mat. So not a lot happening as of yet, as Savigny made a spin, but Horsley fights that off. As you look at this one once again, over to the left side of the circle, you can watch our matches tonight at drgnews.com and the River 92.7 page. Savigny able to get position, and he was able to get a 3-point takedown just on that edge of the mat. Horsley will come back in the down. Savigny is just going to let him up on the restart. So a 1-point escape here for Noah Horsley. Savigny up and under. Looking for 3 more. And Horsley hanging on to a leg to try to stay out from the full underneath, and potential danger here. John Calda outside here tonight. It's also Caleb Brozick on camera with live ticket. Jordan Blaze running our show in studio, River 92.7 studios. There's a quick ankle pick here for Savigny. Smaller wrestler is Savigny, but he shows weakness this time to get Horsley on the mat for the second time in this first period, and he leads 6-1.
Yeah, pretty opportunistic wrestler when you take a look at Savigny. I mean, he just kind of, exposing a little bit of Horsley just leaving that left foot and just kind of becoming a little bit complacent on it. And he's just attacking that, his right side, Horsley's left side in that case. And you just want to see maybe a little bit more movement out of Horsley on his feet just to kind of switch things up. And keep them guessing a little bit more.
Noah's had some pretty good runs here in the middle part of the season now to the latter end. Starting to see some good things out of him. But Savigny's a kid who has wrestled in a couple of state tournaments already in his young career. And he'll take a 6-1 lead to the second period as our first 2 minutes comes to an end. Horsley's choice, but he will defer. So Savigny wants to start neutral again. And after the way that first period went, well, no surprise on his choice there, as he's got another pick of that left ankle. The quick pick for Savigny, now a 3-point takedown once again, and he leads 9-1. So, what do we know about the Mitchell Kernels here, Coach? Obviously, I do have some of their records after they wrestled in Brookings last weekend, and they've got a couple of spots with some real quality, but still a lot of inexperience, I think, in that room. And, obviously on paper, we're looking at, even though this match going in the favor of Mitchell so far, but I think on paper for the duel overall, obviously the Governors expected to win this one handily, but Mitchell, you still kind of wait. You're just sitting there waiting for them to kind of rise back up and become a factor again in ESD and in Class A competition.
Yeah, there's some bright moments there with them. You start looking at 6-pounder, the heavyweights, got a pretty good record going on the year. I think 32-pounder is pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. And so, they've got some guys in the lineup that can get there. Just, again, fulfilling that full team like we remember back in the 90s, when Mitchell was Mitchell, right? And, again, how things can change pretty quickly on a team. But, for them, I think it's just going through these matches, maybe trying to pick off a couple upsets, but, just watching the kids that are, supposed to win, keep working, doing what they're doing. But, yeah, there'll be a couple guys that should be on the podium for them, but, just that overall team, they're still working. They've changed a couple hands of the coaches over the last 5 to 6 years. And, we've talked about that in the past, how, it's tough to really get a program built when you just keep cycling over those head coaches.
Yeah.
But need some guy to step in there, maybe put some time in and give them a couple years.
Well, almost a full second period finishing up here, and Savigny has been, after a takedown to start the period, in that up position the entire way, and he will actually get a couple of back points to close out the period as well. So 11-1, Savigny has Mitchell out in front here early on. And let's kind of go back to the keys to success discussion here too. And obviously an ESD duel, but when you've got region opponents, there's no shortage of keys to success when you're dealing with region seedings that are on the line, especially for a wrestler like Horsley, who would love to have something on Savigny, or Savigny's looking to try to be seeded as high in that tournament as he possibly can.
Yeah, and for Horsley, for all these Pierre guys that, maybe don't come out on top tonight, it's a learning curve. And it's, going back to the book and going back to video and studying up. It's like, well, what's this guy attacking? For Horsley right now, it's like, well, he's attacking my left side the whole time. Maybe I got to switch my feet up. Maybe I got to change my level a little bit more so I can actually get some, some down blocking occurring. But, just those small little subtle changes to make that match just a little bit closer and, give yourself a fighting chance with about 30 seconds left is, what you're looking for.
Yeah, Horsley in trouble here. He's down 15-1. And actually, as he gets back out of it, this will be a technical fall victory for Blaze Savigny, who looks impressive. 19-1, the score in that one. Mitchell will strike first. They lead the Governors 5-0. Let's get a quick 30-second break in. We'll go to 113 next. You're listening to Governor Wrestling.
May Adam Law Firm of Pierre offers superior legal representation. Clients can be assured their legal matter will be handled with expertise and the utmost professionalism. Their skilled South Dakota lawyers can take care of your family law, estate planning, real estate law, and personal injury. They're able to help you plan and prepare to make matters easy now and into the future. Call 224-8803. May Adam Law Firm in Pierre since 1881.
Welcome back to Riggs High Gym. It's Daniel Mason on the mat for the Pierre Governors. He takes on Micah Bennett of the Mitchell Kernels. We actually saw Carter Radell announced during face-offs. And I've actually got Carter Riddell at 120 pounds. I was kind of putting my lineup for Mitchell based off of how they wrestled in Brookings over this past weekend. But Mason and Bennett are 45 seconds in, still neutral, although Daniel Mason working on a move here to get a trip up and get his man to the mat. That is a 3-point takedown for Mason. So Bennett, the 8th grader, 12-13 on the year. Daniel Mason is 23-12, as he's put together a pretty good string of victories through the middle portion of the season as well.
We'll go back to the girls even and kind of take a look at the first couple of matches of the boys. One thing we're going to give credit to is going to be Mitchell's offense. Just kind of texting back and forth to Coach Caven a little bit after their duel, and we're just talking about how defense was really good for the girls. But, probably your number one defense, in the wrestlers, if you got a good offense, we're really seeing how they're, coming out and attacking right away. We've seen that in the 106-pound. We've seen Bennett come out and taking a shot right away. Mason obviously getting back to his offense and scoring from it. But, that's probably the one thing we'd want to see out of these Pierre wrestlers a little bit more tonight is just getting on that offense and staying on that offense.
And right now, as we saw Mason get a 3-point takedown, but Micah Bennett had a good chance of getting a 2-point reversal, but that didn't happen. Mason was able to fight that off. So instead of Mason scoring once he got the first 3 points, he did have to play a little defense in that stretch, just as John Calder was discussing, but it is still a 3-0 lead for Mason, as the wrestlers will start neutral here in our second period. Second match of the night. Mitchell, again, will be open in 2 weight classes here in this boys' duel at 165 and 175. That'll help the Governor cause. Mason right now, again, leading 3-0, but getting pushed around here by Micah Bennett to start this second period. Near the edge. Bennett will end up out of bounds, even though he still had a foot in, but then tried to take an opportunity for a takedown, but took himself right out of play as well. 30 seconds into this second period. Mason had the 1 takedown in the first. He leads 3-0. Keep listening for Right on the Money highlight plays, which are brought to you throughout the broadcast by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. Mason comes up with a takedown, but potential danger here will stop play, and we'll get back to a reset. 6-0 now, early second period for Daniel Mason. And how about the improvement that young Mason here has shown over the course of the season as well?
Yeah, he's been fun to watch, and he's just going to keep growing every match that he wrestles, and just, again, kind of learning, slow things down a little bit and just wrestle smart and just, again, keep things basic for him. You don't have to go out there and try to pin and put yourself in bad positions every match. Just win. I mean, that's the ultimate goal with him, and he's doing a lot better job of that in the second part of the season.
Cradle locked up here for Mason, and he will spin Micah Bennett over. Bennett trying to rock and stay off of the mat with shoulders, as far as his shoulders are concerned. But Daniel Mason has a good one locked here. Back points obviously pending, but he's looking for more. And somewhere in there, his shoulder was still off, but with 11 seconds left in the period, this will be a win by fall. For Daniel Mason, we'll call it in 3 minutes and 49 seconds. The Governors get 6 after Mitchell scored 5 in that first match, and it's Pierre up 6-5. Early on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard from Gales Gas Service in Pierre. Giles Obel will report at 120 pounds for the Pierre Governors instead of Gable Urig. Obel was expected to wrestle maybe at 126, but he'll wrestle here at 120 pounds, and Carter Riddell is wrestling now for the Mitchell Kernels. And Obel going quickly to work. An early takedown. Riddell has just 4 victories on the season, a 4-22 mark. Obel with a mostly junior varsity and unattached wrestling in tournaments over the course of the season, but just another quality member of that Governor wrestling room. Knows what he's trying to do, knows what his job is out here tonight as well. He has a 3-point takedown on Riddell as we hit the 1 minute mark in this first period. Sophomores here. We've had a couple of juniors. John called up. Here's still a fairly young team. It is senior night tonight, and the Govs have 4 seniors coming up through the middle weight classes, but it's the youth of these programs, both boys and girls. It's got to have people excited in Pierre.
Yeah, well, and you finally gave me my plug I've been waiting for all night. We just got done, wrestling the ESD middle school tournament over in Watertown on Monday, where we ended up crowning 8 champs, and we had another 4 that got in second, and we're the team champs out of the conference. And so, we kind of start looking at the youth. Again, we've got kids coming, and it's just one of those things. Might not be cracking that lineup right now. When you take a look at somebody like Giles Abel, obviously got some horses in front of him, but he's going to get his opportunity at some point in time, and we're seeing some good stuff out of him.
Abel with a 3-1 lead. He did yield an escape earlier in this first period, but now in short time trying to get another takedown. This coming after a restart because of stalemate, and Abel does get a takedown with just a few seconds to go. The first period comes to an end. Giles Abel on top 6-1. And Mitchell's choice after deferment from Abel. And Carter Riddell takes the up position here. And a quick start here. Too quick for Abel. He'll be warned for a false start. And we talk sometimes about the choice of, you want to take the up, you want to take the down, and being down 6-1. I'm impressed that Riddell and Mitchell chose to take the up position. If that's how they feel they can score a little bit easier, or as Ryan Noyes when he's on the mic, he always says and talks about how much work it is to try to work out from the down position. Yep. And if you can't get the job done, all you're doing is making things more
All new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
So we'll go to 126. We welcome you back. It is Gable Uhrig having moved up to wrestle. It'll be a bigger challenge here for Uhrig, wrestling a heavier weighted wrestler, but Gable is outscoring quickly. Couple of takedowns, a couple of escapes as he's looking for another one. Has his man up in the air, down on the mat for a third takedown. Feet to back this time for Gable Uhrig. And by the way, his opponent is Stratton Van Overshield, a junior for the Kernels. And Gable's got a headlock here. So Uhrig has come out in scoring mode, but he found his opportunity to get, again, the feet-to-back move, and there it is, a quick win by fall. 52 seconds for Gable Uhrig as the Governors will score another 6. And Gable Uhrig improves to 30-5 on the season. Just another solid year for Gable, right?
Yeah, just, again, another guy that keeps getting better and better and better. And I think for him, that was kind of an opportunity to work on his offense a little bit and start get that going. And, we kind of know what he does have when he gets on top. And it's nice to see him scoring from his feet there as well.
3 pins in a row here for the Governors to take the 18-5 lead. 4 matches in. 4 weight classes in. 10 to go. And we should have a good one now. 132 pounds. Walker West, the senior for the Governors, against the sophomore Noah Bennett for the Kernels. These two wrestled in Brookings last week. And Bennett came up with a 4-3 victory over the weekend. Walker West comes in 26-11. Bennett 24-6. So one of the spots that Mitchell does have some quality here. After a reset from being out of bounds, Bennett comes after him. And Walker West trying to fight things off. So Walker, even on senior night, has a little motivation because of that. But obviously after losing the last time these two wrestled, a little extra motivation. But Noah Bennett wants to keep coming after him here. Doing what he can to keep him in bounds. Nope, his feet get up, and both his feet were out of bounds. All points contacting the mat were off of the edge of the circle.
Yeah, good little chain wrestling there by both wrestlers.
45 seconds on the reset. First period. West gets in, gets low, but it is Bennett stiffening out. He'll fight that one off, and Walker West comes up empty. Go back to that Gable Uhrig match, that feet-to-back move, highlight play, we'll call it. Right on the money, Gable Uhrig, and right on the money. Highlight plays and Governor Broadcast brought to you by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. Ryan Oakland play-by-play. You've got John Calda outside. Glad to have him aboard as always. And we've got a scoreless first period that comes to an end here at 132 pounds. Senior against a sophomore. That Mitchell sophomore a good one, and he will choose neutral to start our second period this time.
Yeah, watching that first period, I think a lot of this is going to come down to, scoring points on your feet, but who's going to be, complacent in one little certain position. There's a lot of good movement, chain wrestling in that first one. No guy was able to score. Again, I think we're going to maybe see fatigue set in a little bit on one of these wrestlers. I think we're going to maybe see just a little bit of tiredness set in. It's going to be that one little situation where a guy's going to sit that's going to allow a guy to score.
Yeah. Well,
right there.
And here is West lifting his man up. He gets Bennett spun back down, but couldn't get him on his back. 3-point takedown. Walker West strikes first. I keep alluding to their match in Brookings, which was 4-3. That's probably not the only time they've wrestled so far this season, but, low scoring effort. And, to your point, it kind of makes any points in this match come at a premium.
Yeah, your shot's got to be on. Again, if you miss a shot, you better be up in good position and looking for a reattack or, defense their reattack. And that's just where that chain wrestling, that constant movement motion and just not getting lackadaisical in one little situation comes into play.
So West with Bennett face down on the mat. Tried to pull that left leg up. Still trying to work on that. Trying to do something to get some scoring done while he's in control. With the wrestlers on the mat. Really trying to work into that cradle here. 30 seconds to go. We're in the second period. First scoring of the match once again comes from Walker West.
And it's a nice little right tactic. You're off to the side a little bit. You're keeping good pressure on him. Again, you want to score points, but we also don't want to give up any points in this situation. So just wrestle smart, keep composed, stay in good position.
Out of bounds on the upper end of the circle if you're watching at drgnews.com. The reset. 17 seconds and counting down. Second period, and West unable to hold it as Bennett will sneak out of the hold. He'll get a point here in the final 10 seconds of the period. And it'll be 3-1 as we go to the third. So now we'll see the strategy here as West will take the down. Talked earlier about the Mitchell wrestler taking up when he was down 6-1, but now when you're trying to maintain a 3-1 lead, I think certainly the better choice for Walker West. And West gets out of the hold and he turns it into a 2-point reversal. West will up his lead to 5-1. Walker in our last broadcast was one of two outstanding wrestlers or players of the game that we had for the boys when the Governors hosted Pierre in Watertown. Bennett got up, but then West gets him back down. 70 seconds to go in this third period. Yeah, Walker's had some shining moments over the course. He's won a tournament, maybe two along the way, if memory serves. Walker seemed last year like one of these guys that was just right in the middle of the pack all the time. He was going to win as many matches as he lost, but good to see him, kind of becoming somebody that Pierre can rely upon in most circumstances to come up with some big points.
Yeah, he's becoming a little bit more kind of composed wrestler as well, but he's always got that. Even last year being 500 wherever he was at, he always had that one situation though where he could upset a kid if he wanted to. It's just he has that little funk about him as well that just kind of gets the guys, and we're seeing it tonight. He just doesn't give up. He doesn't stop fighting in situations.
6 full minutes, and every opportunity that Bennett has tried to take advantage of has been unsuccessful, and Walker West will finish a 5-1 victory, avenging the loss, and that could be big for the region. This might be a milestone victory as everybody's a little excited here for Walker West. What's going on here, JW?
No, it's just excitement, man. I mean, that was a big match.
Well, and as big as it is, I think the biggest thing is we go back to the key to success that we just talked about. It's region seeding here, and that certainly is a big advance because it's always been the case in boys wrestling that regions, your ultimate finish in the state tournament could rely wholeheartedly on and completely on how you are seated and how you place in that region tournament. First off,
and I look at this situation too. I'm sure that loss, that's his last match, right? That he wrestled on Saturday. And so it's kind of the cool thing about these single duels is that you kind of know who you're coming up against. And so you get a chance to really sit back and analyze, what's going on and kind of put your heart and soul into 3 or 4 practices looking at one guy. And, that can be overwhelming at times. And especially you come off a match and just wrestle phenomenal like that. I mean, you got to feel pretty good about yourself, and great to see the team back in there and everybody else understand how big of a match that was for him.
All right, so up next is 138. We're at Rowdy Menning for the Pierre Governors, the senior, 28-9, taking on Taven Redday of Mitchell, who is 7-12. Redday, the sophomore, for the Kernels. Menning had a move, but Mat official Chris Dozark ruled potentially dangerous, and he prevented it. Menning was a little frustrated, but now he comes right back, and he has Redday on his back. Takedown plus more. And Rowdy Menning just doing what Rowdy Menning does, and in a lot of cases. 3 points for the takedown, 4 on the near fall. 7-0. Menning leads. Oh, he tried to throw him backwards here, but fortunate that didn't turn into something worse. By the way, after that last match, the Governors 5 matches in have the 21-5 lead on the duel on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard. Here's another 3-point takedown as Menning continues to score. 20 seconds to go. First period. 10-1 now. And that'll be 4 more back points pending. But we have blood. Nope, illegal hold for Menning. And so that'll end that threat. And a penalty point tacked on to Redday's score. So 14-2, and we're at the tail end of the first period. 9 seconds coming after a reset. Menning left arm wrapped around. And we'll keep him on the mat and actually pick up a few more seconds of near fall. And that's 3, and that's enough for a technical fall at the end of the first period for Rowdy Menning. 17-2. The 15-point victory stops the match. 5 for the Governors. It's 26-5. About halfway through, halftime in our broadcasts are brought to you by Wealth Partners, Ameriprise Financial in Pierre. You're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling.
With Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union's new online and mobile banking features, you can apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Send and receive secure messages with our team and manage your debit or credit card with ease. Plus, enjoy seamless digital wallet compatibility. Tap, pay, and go with confidence. Your money, your control, your convenience. Download the app today and experience the future of banking. Safe, simple, and always with you. All deposits are insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
Ready to get outside and play? Whether it's a new boat for the water or an RV for camping trips across the plains, Oahe Federal Credit Union's Rec Special is here. Their recreational loan special offers terms up to 12 years and 90 days with no payments, so you can focus on the fun now and pay later. Some restrictions apply. For full details and eligibility requirements, visit Oahe Federal Credit Union at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, federally insured by the NCUA.
We're back at Riggs High Gym, and Alex Odekoven, the pound-for-pound top wrestler for the Pierre Governors, is on the mat here at 144 pounds. His opponent, Carson Odell, a freshman for the Mitchell Kernels. And while we were away at break, Odekoven came out and went right to work with a couple of takedowns. He let his opponent up a couple of times, has a third takedown now, and it's 9-2, but Odekoven notices blood, and he asks for a stoppage here. He's got blood himself, so we'll have a timeout on our match here. Timeouts or play stoppages of any kind, sponsored by Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. I'll pause for a moment for station identification. You're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety. River 92.7, KGFX FM, and K296FI, Pierre. Arrive alive. Don't text and drive.
Brian Oakland along with John Calda here in the booth. Caleb Brozick from Live Ticket on camera. How do you do, Caleb? And it's Jordan Blaze in studio as well. So the Governors wrapping up their dual regular season. They have their final tournament tune-up, which will be the Yankton Invitational this coming weekend. Pierre will try to make it 2 tournament victories in a row after coming out on top at the Brookings Invitational this past weekend. And then once again, it is state dual tournament time coming up on February 14th. Governors will be hosting for the second year in a row, and we'll have coverage of all three duels, assuming my partner John Calda will be available for that.
Should be.
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
It's a state tournament. And an event the Govs have won 2 times in the last 5 years. But obviously Sturgis will be the odds-on favorite to repeat as dual champions once again. Back off of a reset from a blood timeout, Alex Odekoven with a 9-2 lead over Carson Odell. First period scoring, and JW, you were asking for offense a little earlier in this duel from Governor Wrestlers. We saw that from Rowdy Menning, and well, we're seeing it from Odie here in this 144-pound class as well. Now Odekoven has Odell on his back. Tail end of the first period. Won't get much more out of that. He gets a few seconds, back points, 4 of them. It'll be 13-2. So there's your offense, sir.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been looking for. And obviously, you get to the heart of the lineup here, and kind of the heart of the Pierre Governor Wrestling team. That stuff's going to pick up a little bit, and just one of those things where you start looking at duels, and starting at 6 is great and so on. But it's like, if we were to start anywhere, it's probably starting right around that 20 to 26. And then, just getting everybody else just kind of follow suit from there. But, this is obviously, the senior night for a bunch of these boys, and just a good way to go out.
Well, you do have your scores in this these middle weight classes with, from Walker West to Rowdy Menning, Alex Odekoven, now Jordan Schaefer. We've seen him as a scorer. You've got Porter Hunsley still to come as well, and a great season he's having so far. Here's Odekoven. I just happened to look up off of my sheet, and I saw Alex with a hand kind of pushing the head of Carson Odell, and suddenly Odell is down, and Odekoven had him by the feet. Now he's got a cradle locked up, too. And Odekoven, again, would have had a technical fall, but he gets a win by fall instead. 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Alex Odekoven puts the Govs up 32-5. As we'll pause here. Actually, we'll keep it going this time as Jordan Schaefer is set to take the mat. Samari Wright, his opponent, Wright, the junior for Mitchell, 13-15 on this. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong weight class. This is Matt Peterson, a freshman, taking on Jordan Schaefer. Carson Odell, initially I had him. He wrestled at 150 in Brookings last weekend, but now moving down to 144 tonight. So Matt Peterson gets the call for Baker Haar and the Mitchell Kernels, and Jordan Schaefer already in attack mode with 1 takedown and a let up. Now another takedown, and he leads 6-1. Rolls Peterson over, and Schaefer, just rolled right in to the hold he needed to get his man on his, with the angle on his back. 4 back points. And this is the thing about Jordan Schaefer. In the way he looks to score, he just had a hold, and all he was looking to do is to get his 4 points and then just get out of it and move on to the next. And here he's leading 13-3. I'll tell you what, in some of the ways these guys are scoring these days, as an official, you got to stay alert.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Out of bounds here. Schaefer's already leading 16-4. 4 escapes to Matt Peterson, but Jordan Schaefer, what an addition he has been to the Governor wrestling room this year. He comes from the Miller Highmore Herald conglomerate, but still lives in that Herald area. He finishes off a 19-4 technical fall, still in the first period. 5 more for the Governors, who lead 37-5. We've got a couple of open weight classes coming up, so we'll continue to keep it here at 157. Damon Horsley to take the mat. He'll take on Samari Wright. Wright, a junior for Mitchell. Horsley, a senior for Pierre. And Horsley hoping to come up with some big wins here. Damon just 9-20 on the season. And I think from a fan's perspective, John called it, that Horsley's one of these guys who's been in the room for a bunch of years, now getting an opportunity. I think with some, we must have injuries or something at 57. Talon Lightfield, he's been wrestling earlier, or is this Horsley spot for the duration now?
Yeah. I mean, there have been some pretty decent wrestle-offs in the room, and I think Talon did come up with the injury here. That might have been season ending for him, so which kind of opened that door for Horsley to step in. But between him and Landon Cronin and Lightfield, I mean, it's been a pretty tight three-way battle kind of all year with them.
3-point takedown a moment ago for Damon Horsley, so he'll take a 3-0 lead. And this is a big match for him. Obviously, I think record-wise, I don't know about head-to-head between these two wrestlers this season, but record-wise, you're probably looking at the Mitchell wrestler being the higher seed. So if you want to get region seedings again, which is just a couple of weekends away, well, 2 after this coming, this could be a big match, just like we were talking about with Walker West and his win over Noah Bennett tonight.
And not to mention it's senior night, right? I mean, if you're going to go out anyway in the Pierre gym, obviously go out on top. Obviously to get the opportunity to wrestle at state duels here, but just kind of one of those nights, a little bit more of an emphasis on those boys that, their one last chance to wrestle in front of this crowd.
So Horsley leading 3-0, 10 seconds left. Still trying to find a way to get Samari Wright rolled over, but that won't happen here in this first period. We talk about that Mitchell program once again, and Baker Haar has taken that over. We remember Baker as a really, really good wrestler in Aberdeen Central when he was in high school, and he's been, he was assisting Adam Everson for several years, and when Everson left, I think now a couple of years ago, here's Baker Haar with a chance to run his own program. Still a young guy, all things considered, but an opportunity to do what he can to try to build something up. And I imagine, I don't know him on a personal level or anything like that. I just remember watching him wrestle, hard-nosed, 215-pounder, and if I remember right, and just a good guy, I imagine, for Mitchell to have to lead the way.
Yeah, he's kind of been the one constant staple that we've seen within that program. And, you go back to, guy was funny. We were talking to our kids today about how quickly you can lose something, right? In terms of just momentum, and in terms of we're coming off the ESD stuff and going into our state tournament next weekend as well for middle school. And, but it takes time to build, and so it's something that's not going to come overnight for him, but, it can be 1 or 2 years down the road. But, I think he sticks with it, gets some of the kids involved. They got some pretty decent, middle school boys coming up, and just, again, get those boys to buy in. I think he'll have something worth building here in the next couple of years.
Sure thing. We're a minute into the second period. It is Horsley in the down position. He's had a couple of opportunities, but Samari Wright's done a good job of staying in control here, staying in the upper half of the circle. If you're watching, drgnews.com, the River 92.7 page. Horsley is up. Horsley is out. And a 1-point escape to add to his lead, 4-0. Damon Horsley tries to reach for the back of the knee, but nothing there. Oh, and now Wright comes after him, and they will tumble over and off the mat to the Mitchell side bench. No harm, no foul. They're back and ready to go. 28 seconds on the reset. Second period here at 157 pounds. Kernels are open in the next 2 weight classes. So after this one, 3 more matches to wrestle. Governor's lead on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard, 37-5. And as Horsley got a leg up, but both of his feet were out of bounds. And they come back to the middle again. Still neutral, but just a few seconds to go in this second period. Governor Boys have that state dual tournament, which is next weekend, and that'll be here at Riggs High Gym. They'll have two matches at 11 o'clock on Saturday. Well, Friday as well for Class B, but Saturday, February 14th, for the State A dual tournament. And then two matches at 11 in the first round, and then two matches at 12:30 in the first round. And then from there, the loser's bracket moves into the auxiliary gym, and the winner's bracket stays here in the varsity gym. That's kind of how that's going to pan out. 12:30, we should say 2 o'clock, and 3:30 will be the semifinal rounds on both sides of the bracket. And then they only wrestle for 5th place in the auxiliary gym. The 7th place matches will not be wrestled.
And if you're still not done with wrestling after that weekend, after Friday and Saturday, you got to start looking at Sunday. We got 500 middle school kids that'll be coming into the gym for a middle school state tournament that's put on in Pierre every year. So got a plethora of wrestling, a lot of different age levels and groups going on. It's going to be a pretty exciting weekend.
Location,
Absolutely.
Right? Something to look forward to each and every year. We're halfway through our third period as Damon Horsley on senior night holding down a 4-0 lead. Leading Samari Wright here. We've done a lot of talking, but not necessarily about this match. But Horsley is he's just commanding this match. He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, not a lot of action, but just in control.
Well, he's managing it so well. He just got cautioned for stalling.
Yeah. And that's the great part about, again, you're up 4-0, right?
Yep.
So, even a takedown, you're up 3-0, you can afford to give up some stall calls. As coaches, we always try to, stay away from those, but win a match, right? That's what it comes down to. So do what you got to do for the last 30 seconds to win the match.
And you save a little energy, too, when this match is destined to go six full minutes. 20 seconds left on the reset. Horsley's got the hand underneath. Well, they let that one go and try to work more up top. But again, he's just staying active the rest of the way. Damon Horsley's going to pick up a 4-0 decision over Samari Wright. The Governors will add 3. It's 40-5. On the Gales Gas Service scoreboard, as Pierre has won all but the first weight class of the night so far. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more Pierre Governor Wrestling on River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Hi, this is Clark Jodry, the Business Development Officer at American Bank and Trust in Pierre. With over 25 years of experience as a local business owner, I'm familiar with the day-to-day trials and needs it takes for your farm and business to be successful. AB&T in Pierre has a team of experienced agriculture and business banking professionals that speak your language. Make American Bank and Trust your trusted banking advisor. Call or visit us online at abt.bank today.
Back at Rick High Gym, Brian Oakland, John Zalda here on the call. 190 pounds coming up, and Porter Hunsley gains a win by forfeit at 165. Will Eilers, ditto, at 175, so 12 more points since we've left for break to the Governors. And on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard, they lead Mitchell 52-5, and we move on up to 190. Alec Eilers with a good opportunity coming up. Sophomore for the Governors, 18-13 on the year, taking on Garrett Dumas of the Mitchell Kernels, who is also a sophomore. Dumas just 7-19 on the year, and Eilers takes the first opportunity to score. Three 0 to start for Alec Eilers, but Dumas up on his feet and will earn a 1-point escape. Eilers comes right back down below and picks the right ankle.
Yep.
And there's the takedown. Second one of this first period. Of course, these guys who have watched the guys in the middleweights, I mean, they're coming out and trying to be as offensive as possible as well. Got a play stoppage here. And looks like we'll have a blood timeout. Timeouts of any kind brought to you by Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. Some high-scoring efforts, though, and highlight wrestling Right on the money from the Governors through much of this night. Highlight plays from Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. Well, the way things are shaping up in that dual tournament, JW, I mean, Pierre was sitting at third last week before their loss to Brandon Valley a week ago tonight. That was 49-25. Brandon Valley looked very strong there. I think the Govs tried to maneuver a little bit. That didn't really work out, but now you've got Brandon Valley slipping into 3, the Govs at 4, but their first round matchup would be against a team that has beaten them in a duel this year in the Watertown Arrows. But just another, if that's what the first round matchup is going to be, it's another one of those, 7 and 7, possibly 7 each way. But it's going to be go time when we get to that dual tournament.
Well, and I mean, get past that one, and not that we want to look ahead, but I mean, we start looking at how maybe this sets us up a little bit to reach finals. We may possibly reach Aberdeen Central then in the semis, which we have beat this year already.
Right.
Compared to Brandon Valley and Sturgis, and so coming in as a 4 or 5 really ain't a bad place to be if things hold the way that they are.
Eilers has another takedown here. We're still in the first period, 25 seconds to go. Alec leading 9-2, and that's a good point too, because Aberdeen Central is 17-2 in their duels. Sturgis is unbeaten at 17-0, and of course, a lot of people, you see it in basketball and volleyball and football. It undefeated doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the 1 seed when you're dealing with the PowerPoint formula that the High School Activities Association has in place. But of course, we discussed this a little bit last year because Pierre ended up as a 9 seed, did not make the top 8. Had it been track wrestling that determines the seedings for teams in the dual tournament, for example, then I'm sure everybody agrees that Pierre would have and maybe should have been in that tournament field. But if you're just doing it the way it's set up right now. Yeah, Aberdeen right now has a better PowerPoint average than Sturgis does, even though they have a couple of losses. Alec Eilers continues here. We've got 2 back points that goes to Eilers. And I believe before that, as the announcer was babbling again, we had a 2-point reversal as well. So a 4-point move for Eilers before we have to stop for another blood timeout. 13-2, Alec Eilers in command here against Garrett Dumas. Pair of sophomores here. I wonder if that's going to change anytime. I figured maybe even after last year that
something, that
the argument was strong enough to maybe make a change, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, and I don't know what they'd have to do. I mean, when you look at, obviously ESD schools, competing against each other in duels, it can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Sturgis Wrestling, I think Belfouche or some of the smaller teams out there is kind of what hurt them with their PowerPoints right now. And then you got, some of the other teams, and not taking anything away from, some of the other ones, but, they're maybe not wrestling as many duels, or, maybe getting a little bit more of a selection in terms of who they are wrestling. And, it just, I don't know, until you get everybody kind of on board with, maybe having a meet, got to get 8 duels in, 10 duels in, whatever the case is. I think State's kind of doing what they can do at that point in time.
Yeah, and the number of duels that the Governors, for example, have wrestled this season have dropped off as well. Just 8-3 coming into this one. Here basically wrestles their ESD schedule. Nice move by Alec Eilers, by the way.
And then you got some teams that are complete opposite, where you take a look at Rapid City Central. How many
22 and 10 is their record.
Yeah.
And where Rapid City Stevens is just 3-5 this year.
Exactly, yep.
Stevens has changed their course of direction, so to speak, this season. Well, Eilers has a technical fall at hand here, but he's trying to get a pin. And he does, with 30 seconds to wrestle in the second period. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Alec Eilers tacks on 6. And the Govs lead the Kernels 58-5. Another 30-second timeout, 2:15 coming up next. This is Governor Wrestling.
Health, happiness, and home. Hi, this is Tara Sunshine of Kathy Sunshine Properties. Purchasing and selling a home can be the largest investment you make. I invite you to choose our team to help you with the process. For over 51 years, our office has been successfully serving the buyers and sellers of the Pierre-Fort Pierre area with professional service. Our team has extensive training and experience in the real estate field. It is our goal to provide you with superior service. Contact me or any of our realtors. 605-224-5588. Kathy Sunshine Properties.
We're at 2:15 with 2 matches to go. The Governors and the Mitchell Kernels back at Riggs High Gym. Kalo Steele on the mat for the Governors. 18 seconds in, works out the opening takedown. His opponent, Mason Fosness, a senior for the Mitchell Kernels. And Steele strong, forcing Fosness over to his back.
Nice change over there, yeah.
Fosness 5-13 on the season. Steele, I've got him at 10-10. Seems like he's had more matches than that, but that is what it was on the Brookings brackets from last weekend. Back points for Steele gives him a 6-0 lead as Fosness was face down momentarily, but Steele continues to put the force on the upper half of Mason Fosness, who's doing everything he can to keep his shoulders off the mat right now. Kalo Steele with plenty of time, won't need it. That is 1 minute and 15 seconds for Steele, who gets the win by fall. 6 more for Pierre. They'll lead 64-5 with 1 match to go. And Mitchell will have one of their top wrestlers coming up to close out the night as Rocky Clark, a junior, will take on junior Devin Binger for the Pierre Governors. Clark is 28-3 on the season. Devin Binger 13-14. Seen Devin put some wins together, but still a big underdog in this one. Rocky Clark, he's just seems like he's been around for a while, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
A good name, good results all the time, but there still seems, even in Rocky Clark's instance, there's just always somebody better in that heavyweight weight class. Whether it's been Navarro Shunky or Micah Hawk from Watertown, or now Elijah Shunky at Brandon Valley this season. Out of bounds, still both on their feet. Is Devin Binger and Rocky Clark. Battle here. Final match of the night. We'll give a full recap in our Family Dental postgame coming up when this one is over. Look at big plays of the evening from Hermanson Endodontics. We'll announce 2 players of the game. One for the girls, one for the guys. Looked like Devin Binger wanted to come after Rocky Clark, but he just stepped aside and Binger lost his balance. Clark comes down on top for that takedown. And Rocky's still trying to force Devin Binger over. Looking at the weigh-in sheet, there's about a 4-pound difference between these two, and that's it. Devin Binger with the upper hand on the tail of the tape. Now Clark hitting Binger. Turned a bit. Not enough, though. 19 seconds to go. First period. And Rocky Clark managing this match so far as well in the first 2 minutes. Looking to see if Binger will make a mistake toward the tail end. He will not. And it'll be a 3-0 lead for Clark. Clark will defer. Devin Binger will stay on his feet to start the second period. They'll go neutral. Mitchell won our first match tonight at 106, a technical fall victory for Blaze Savigny over Noah Horsley, but the Governors have won 12 weight classes in a row, including a couple of opens. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins by pin so far tonight for the Govs. 6 out of their 12 in a row that they've come out on top, and 2 technical falls as well. 1 decision, 2 wins by forfeit. Clark trying to get Binger up in the air, and he'll put him back to the mat, and that's a takedown. 3 points for Rocky Clark. Working on leverage, up and under the left arm. Now Binger back on his back. And Rocky Clark, strong wrestler. We're a minute into the second period. Binger shows a little bit of movement, but he's just trying to get his right shoulder up instead of his left. For a moment, we weren't seeing much movement at all. Clark's trying to pin that left shoulder back down. Getting Binger on a full wingspan here.
Clark, good little fight out of Binger here.
Yeah. Well, there it is. It ran out on him. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. That's a win by fall for Rocky Clark. So it's bookend victories for Mitchell, but the Governors take everything in between, and we're done for the night. Your final score on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard: the Governors win the duel 64-11. They'll finish the duel season 9-3, including 7-2 in the ESD. Mitchell falls to 2-14, 0-9 in ESD competition. Good night for the Govs. The girls get a victory this evening as well, and we'll talk all about it after our break coming up. The Gales Gas Service scoreboard brought to you by Gales Gas Service in Pierre. Didn't need them today, but when it's cold, use their budget plan and keep full service to stay warm all season long with Gales Gas Service in Pierre. Senior night, a happy one for the Governors. And again, your post-game coming up. Our Family Dental post-game comes back in 3 minutes. You're listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling, your official voice of the Governors, River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Dr. Ryan and his team at Family Dental in Pierre and Gettysburg would like to thank their wonderful patients for allowing us to treat their whole family, from infants to elders and everyone in between, including routine dental care, same-day crowns and bridges, implants, and many more procedures. We are excited that soon we'll be able to offer IV sedation. We are excited for what the future will bring. Call 224-7774 to schedule an appointment today. Again, thank you to all our wonderful patients.
Century Business Products is a proud provider of the most reliable Kyocera copiers and printers to the Pierre School District. Backed by 5-time nationally awarded Kyocera servicing team. Are you looking to control color cost? Looking to reduce printers? Are you looking for more efficient ways to scan documents? Or maybe you'd like to become more paperless? Look no further than your local Century Business Products. Call 800-529-1950 and see how they're powering business technology.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre is here for you. They make it easy when looking for a new vehicle, getting all available vehicle information so you can spend less time researching and more time enjoying your purchase. Shop their extensive inventory from home at CapitalCityFordToyota.com or stop into Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Count on them for all your service needs with convenient scheduling and in-stock parts. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre, 605-224-7378.
Do you dream of a custom home built within your budget and done on time? Kruger Contracting can make that dream a reality. They're a trusted home builder since 2003, and they're going to be upfront and open about cost and transparent about where your money is going when it comes to your new home. Their skilled crew will manage construction of your new home from start to finish. They're located in Pierre and can build your home in Pierre, Fort Pierre, or the surrounding area. Call 605-222-2523. Visit KrugerContracting.com or find Kruger Contracting on Facebook.
This winter, Beck Motor Company is your go-to Chevy dealer for automotive needs. From the tough, rugged Chevy Silverado to a versatile Equinox, we've got the perfect ride for every season. Need service? Our expert team is here to keep you cruising through winter with confidence. Beck Motor Company, your trusted local Chevy dealer, proudly serving you with top-notch vehicles, service, and customer care. Stop by today and drive away with a deal you'll love. www.beck-motors.com, 605-224-5912.
From the early days of South Dakota statehood through today's digital revolution, BankWest has remained committed to helping customers and communities succeed. BankWest Associates uphold this commitment by developing innovative products, tailoring financial solutions to customer needs, and actively supporting community causes. For a bank committed to helping you and your community prosper, choose BankWest. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Oh, back at Riggs High Gym, and when wrestling starts at 5 o'clock, you don't have very many JV matches. You kind of get going a little bit early, and everybody will be sent home a little bit early as well. Governor girls and boys both defeat Mitchell, their Mitchell Kernel counterparts. The girls with a 64-15 dual victory with just 4 matches actually wrestled. Every other weight class was an open for one or, for either one of the two teams. And for the boys, Pierre winning 12 out of 14 weight classes as the Governors defeat the Kernels 64-11. This is our Family Dental postgame brought to you by Family Dental with offices in Pierre and Gettysburg. Let's run down how the boys' duel goes. Starting at 106 pounds, Blaze Savigny, the sophomore for the Kernels, did what he was supposed to do, a technical fall victory, 19-1, defeating Noah Horsley of Pierre. That put Mitchell on top 5-0, but Mitchell did not win another match until the final one. So for the Governors, Daniel Mason defeats Micah Bennett in 3 minutes and 49 seconds, a win by fall. Pierre's up 6-5. Giles Auble wrestled at 120 pounds, and the sophomore gets a 4 minute and 39 second victory over Carter Riddell to make it 12-5. Gable Urig moved up to 126. The sophomore gets a win by fall in the first minute over Stratton Van Overshield of the Kernels to make it 18-5. 132, Walker West with a big win, countering a loss to Noah Bennett from last Saturday over in Brookings. This time Walker West with a 5-1 victory, and the decision puts Pierre up 21-5 at 138. Rowdy Menning scores all through the first period and finishes with a technical fall at 17-2 over Taven Redday to make it 26-5. Then 144, Alex Odekoven, 2 minutes and 24 seconds, a win by fall, defeating Carson Odell to make it 32-5. Jordan Schaefer, a technical fall victory, 19-4. The scorer, Schaefer, gets 5 to the Governor cause at 37-5 after 150. Then at 157, Damon Horsley comes up with a nice win, 4-0 over Samari Wright, and Horsley has a seeding advantage with that victory there for the regions, and he wins. He makes the score 40-5. Pierre Mitchell is open at 165 and 175. Forfeit victories for Porter Hunsley and Will Eilers to up the Pierre lead to 52-5. Then at 190, Alec Eilers gets a win by fall in 3.5 minutes over Garrett Dumas, and Kalo Steele at 215, a win by fall at 115 over Mason Fosness. The score then was 64-5, but Rocky Clark gets a 3 minute and 33 second pin of Devin Binger for Mitchell at 285. Your final score is 64. Excuse me, 64-11 in this one. So again, for both teams, it's all about trying to position for the postseason. You got that region tournament in a couple of weekends after this coming. Both teams going to the Yankton Invite. The Governors will participate in the state dual tournament on the following Saturday, which we'll talk more about in just a little bit. But as we talk with John Calda about tonight's events, and now, for the girls, instead of the state dual tournament, they do have the ESD tournament coming up 1 week from today. Before postseason, then they'll have their region tournament. And right now, this is the thing about wrestling. The season seems like a long one, especially when you're putting in all that work, but it goes so quickly, especially from a fan's perspective. But now it's time to really get serious about, what you need to do the rest of the way.
Yeah, we joke every year. It seems like it gets faster and faster. This year just absolutely blew by. It didn't really ever seem like there was those doldrums that we always kind of talk about with the sport of wrestling. And that's kind of a good thing about our schedule is that there just always seems like there's something to look forward to, 3 or 4 days out. And, you're not just sitting back and practicing. But, yeah, for the girls, for them it's probably a little bit more, kind of laid back. I wouldn't say laid back, but it's like you go to the ESD, these girls have seen these girls so many times throughout the course of the year, and that's just kind of the one issue right now with girls wrestling is that if there's one big tournament, everybody's there. Every year, every weekend's almost a glorified state tournament, if you want to call it that. And so, this weekend at Yankton, they'll get their chance to see Canton, which they haven't seen for a long time, but ESD is going to be like the typical duels that they've had and probably some of the tournaments, most of the tournaments that they've gone to. But, for them, it's coming down to, if I'm wrestling Pierre right now, I'd be a little nervous. I think we do a really good job of strategizing, matches, getting to know the girls' tactics a little bit and being able to kind of expose those weaknesses. And from what we've seen tonight, Coach Cave would want them a little bit more offensive, but they're firing on all cylinders right now.
And the thing with the girls too is that with only 4 matches wrestled tonight, you've got to get those tournaments in just so you can see more people and more opponents and get your 3, 4, 5 matches in a weekend. And I imagine the girls will get that in Yankton. Of course, you talk about the boys and, the focus is the dual tournament too.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, yep. So Coach Lewis is waving at you down there. Didn't know if you wanted him up here. So, so, I mean, with them, the duels probably isn't the big push with the boys. There's one thing about the ESD is that conference is always kind of really built up on, the duels, and we've gone away from the actual individual tournament of it. And, that's that different style of wrestling. That's a different aspect. You throw the tournament rankings out of the picture and, which team is the best team, but yet who can make the better adjustments when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. So Coach Lewis is coming up. We'll have him on the mic here. Let's take a 1-minute break and we'll be back with more. John Calda, thanks as always for joining us, and we'll see you during the state duels here in a couple of weekends.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
All right. John Calda helping us out as usual. 1 minute and we're back with more of the Family Dental Post Game. This is Pierre Governor Wrestling.
Superior Concrete is proud to sponsor the Governors this season and just as proud to offer the finest concrete solutions available for commercial and residential applications as well as foundation and flat work. The bottom line, if you need anything done with concrete, we can do it. Superior Concrete. Give us a call today for an estimate or more information. That's Superior Concrete. Find us on Facebook or call the office at 605-494-0102. That's 494-0102. Call today.
From the early days of South Dakota statehood through today's digital revolution, BankWest has remained committed to helping customers and communities succeed. BankWest Associates uphold this commitment by developing innovative products, tailoring financial solutions to customer needs, and actively supporting community causes. For a bank committed to helping you and your community prosper, choose BankWest. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Hi, Jim, and our Family Dental We're talking with the boys' head coach, the Pierre Governor, Sean Lewis, as the Govs defeat Mitchell 64-11 tonight. And, Coach, we haven't even talked on the mic at all this season, so I'm glad to have you come up here and chat with us as we kind of get ready, as Coach Calda and I are talking about the postseason. You still have the Yankton invite this weekend, but as you finish your dual portion of the season, just kind of in your eyes and your opinions, give us an idea of where you guys are now and where you are in relation to where you wish you were or where you'd want to be going into the postseason with the duels and the regions coming up.
Oh, where we are versus where we wish we would be. If I were to take
the personnel you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Just from the beginning of the year till now, we knew we would have pretty much a young squad, only with, 4 seniors in our lineup. And, with those, 3 of them with some good varsity experience. And, Damon's been with us, a little bit in different capacities, but so real, when you got kind of 3 guys who've been there, you're like, okay, like we could be all right, but it's a puzzle that we got to get together throughout OPC. If you'd have told me, hey, we'd only have, these 3 dual losses and they would be to, X, Y, and Z with Sturgis and Brandon Valley and in a tight one with Watertown. I said, I'm pretty happy with that. But as the season's progressed, obviously the expectations then, with our sophomores really stepping up and the development with some kids really stepping up is we've had some fantastic performances. Mm-hmm. I would say I think we have a little bit of anxiety with duels, losing those 3 because kind of the capacity that we that we lost that tight one with Watertown. And then, we just didn't perform real well down in Brandon Valley. And, we'll take that one on the chin and we'll move. Our duel lost to Sturgis, obviously, but we also beat a really good Aberdeen team.
Yeah.
So if my math is correct, we're going to end up as the 5 seed for state duels. And, realistically, if we would have performed better in either the Watertown or the Brandon Valley duel, we're the 2 or the 3. And so you think, we're 1 match away from being the 2 or the 3. And like I said, just with the development of these guys and even the stuff that we did here tonight, just speaks volumes to what we're doing in the room. We're sticking to the program and we're doing some things. And it's fun to see that. And tonight, especially, going 4 for 4 out of your 4 seniors.
Sure.
You cannot draw it up better than that. And, there were some matches. There were 2 tough matches with both Damon versus Samurai and
Walker against Noah Bennett.
Walker against Noah Bennett. And, Noah's beaten him twice already this year, and I don't know if we beat him last year at all. I know we got close like a million times, and that's been their career battling back and forth. But, Walker sticks to it. He gets in a single leg position that we knew that he could get into, and in years past, we're clawing down to get at the ankle or we're holding at the knee, and we made some technical adjustments with our team this year to bring that up high in the crotch and then be able to lift. And he did that, and that was for the finish. And so to see something come to fruition that we seriously work on every single day at the end of practice, not at the beginning when everybody's fresh, but at the end when you're tired so you know that you can, and to see that finished in a new way that's not his normal just pattern of moves, it's a great and gratifying feeling.
That explains all the excitement that you had, and I was kind of wondering, was this a milestone victory? Is it but it really wasn't.
You don't take a single victory for granted. Everyone's a milestone.
It was just a big victory for him, and we talked a little bit throughout our broadcast about when you're facing a team like Mitchell, especially in some of these 50-50 type matches. It's huge for seeding in that region tournament, and that one has to help his cause. You're looking at Damon's victory. I think record-wise, it's helping his cause. I don't know what their head-to-head record was over the course of the season, but these are a couple of big victories for these seniors on a big night for them.
Yeah, and I think Damon and Samurai were either 1-1 or we're like 2-1. So now we'll have seeding criteria depending on what happens if we see each other in a Yankton tournament. And then, I think we were 2-0 versus Noah Bennett. Now we're 2-1. If by chance we see him again in Mitchell and we get the win, then we got the last 2. We'll have seeding criteria moving into the region tournament, which could be big as well. And, just like I said, we talked in the room before coming down, and it was like, hey, everybody just relax, go out and have some fun. It's senior night. Yeah, it's your last one in this gym, but there's no more pressure than there is at any point in time. And, you underclassmen just do the thing and, honor your seniors with the best performance that you can possibly put out there. Cause you don't know when your last performance is. And then I don't know if you guys could see it from here, but, we set up Aiden Van Balen's singlet in the corner with his wrestling shoes and his headgear. And it was actually 366 days ago that he wrestled his last match.
Oh, that's a great story. I did not see that, but I appreciate you bringing that up, and obviously makes it that much more of a special night. So we're still thinking about him. We take a look though. One of the things that John Calda and I were talking about too was about governors coming out, wrestlers coming out in being offensive, and some of the first periods that you had early on were a little slow going. You got things done later on in the matches. Obviously, Gable came out and did what he could do, but you get to Rowdy and Odie and Jordan and those guys, and their scorers first and foremost, but just being offensive seems like a big key to success moving forward.
Yeah, Pierre Governor Wrestling is always known for being just hammers on top, and I can't say it's just this year. It's been like a 4-year solid work and development we do 90% of the wrestling on our feet in the room. We don't practice top a ton, and if we do, we're practicing bottom, but bottom's a whole lot of a mentality. And so for us to really start trusting and showcasing that offense, especially in this new scoring system, that we've had for the last couple of years now with the 3-point takedown, there's just so much more emphasis on that. And I'm just glad that we're able to kind of showcase those little things that we're doing and we're changing in ties, in shots, and then in finishes, hand placements. I mean, we're constantly talking about, 3 different things, and they're the 3 L's when we're shooting. We want a good level change, we want a good lock in our hands, and then we want a good lift. And like I said, that was what you saw out of Walker. I mean, he had a great level change, get in there, boom, lock his hands, feel good, come, high in the crotch, hit a good lift, and just know that any finish, once you take a guy's feet off the mat, it's a whole lot easier because they can't defend without a toe in the mat. So just great. You said, we're seeing those things, kind of work themselves. And, with Odekoven, I told him, hey, we were going to go neutral. And he kind of looked at me neutral. He's like, I want to be on top. I'm like, no, you're going to ankle pick this kid one more time, and then you're going to put him in a cradle and pin him. And he goes, okay.
Well, that's what he did.
I drew it up.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is go do it, right?
Listen.
Yeah, Linda. Let's go.
All right. So, again, I think my last comment then, just kind of looking ahead, is, let's talk about the Yankton Invite. Who's going to be there? How many teams, challenges that you'll face? But still just trying to keep the foot on the gas now as you get to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at exactly how many teams are there. We get to see a few teams that we've seen the last couple of weeks, and then we get to add in a couple others that we haven't seen in a while. So we get a shot. We haven't really seen all the Sioux Falls schools all that much, and so it's a good chance for them to be down there. Us to get a good look at them. Man, there are a few barn burner weight classes too. Holy cow! 165. Pretty much going to be your top dudes.
Really?
That is going to be such a fun weight class. 106 is going to be a great weight class to look through. And there are a few others, but I mean, those right away when I was kind of looking through entries just really popped off the page. I think 138 is going to be pretty tough as well. And so, like I said, it's going to be a fun day. It's always an interesting one because it's so late in the year and there's a lot of teams that sit guys, that rest guys, that kind of do that whole thing, and we don't. We don't care if it's in a desert in Saudi Arabia. Like, you put a mat out, we're going to go wrestle on it. We're going to wrestle with our dudes, rather than not, just because that's the only way that you get better. And so, like I said, we're going to go down there. We're going to pretty much be full lineup unless influenza A or B hits us tomorrow.
Let's not chat about that.
Yeah, we'll knock on that wood. We kind of got hit hard this last week, so I'm hoping for the most part that we're ultimately getting through that. So, but this time of the year, who knows?
That's a good point. You've got O'Gorman, Lincoln, Jefferson, all of them with really good wrestlers, just not a lot of depth. But then you got West Central that'll be there too.
Yep, Watertown.
And Watertown, of course. But I mean, I'm just thinking of the teams that you haven't seen much. West Central's poised to make the dual tournament here, and sure is going to be some pretty good matches. And if you got any Vermilion wrestlers that you might cross paths with, you'll see some of them this weekend as well. So, any other comments of what you're looking forward to? And what are your outlooks as far as what kind of damage you can do in the postseason?
The sky's the limit for these guys when we get rolling in tournaments. We just have a lot of fun. Seeing this team kind of develop and come together and just sit in each other's corner has been so awesome. I mean, there's been some things outside of wrestling that's been here and that's been there, but the focus, the intensity, and just the whole development of these guys to embrace. I mean, we've had a senior class that I'm definitely proud of the leadership that these guys have had and just the reflection on the rest of the team. And it's been awesome to see them be a part of.
All right, Coach, we'll look forward to it. We'll be there for the duels and follow the regions, and we'll be there at the state tournament too. All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Sean Lewis, the Governor head coach, was the Governor's defeat the Mitchell Kernels 64-11 tonight. Let's go with another 1 minute timeout, and we've got big plays of the game, your players of the game to award as well when we come back with more of our Family Dental and Governor Wrestling postgame.
Do you love watching high school sports but find yourself wanting to be more involved? LiveTicket.tv has the solution for you. They're looking for production managers to assist for this school year. Duties include the management of equipment as well as basic technological understanding. But don't stress, paid training will be provided. Part-time wages starting at $20 per hour. Call 833-605-LIVE, extension 2. That's 833-605-5483, extension 2. And punch your ticket to joining one of the fastest growing companies in South Dakota.
Chances are you're overlooking a big energy thief in your home or commercial building, the garage doors. But Overhead Door Company of Pierre can help stop that energy waste with a full range of insulated, weather-tight garage doors. Their residential garage doors can give you insulated performance at an uninsulated price. And their Thermocore insulated steel doors give commercial buildings the energy efficiency they demand today. Find out more. Call Overhead Door Company of Pierre at 1-800-649-9905 and put a stop to the garage door energy thief.
Continuing our Family Dental post game, let's start wrapping things up now as we take a look at big plays of the game. Your big plays are sponsored by Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre. Let's hear from Hermanson's and your big plays for girls and boys coming back in our Governor post game.
Quality comes first at Hermanson Endodontics. Dr. Brian Hermanson serves Central South Dakota with specialty root canal treatment. Hermanson Endodontics strives to provide treatment that's not only comfortable, but also provides the best possible outcome. They do this by effective and timely communication with your dentist and preserving as much healthy tooth as possible using state-of-the-art three-dimensional imaging and the dental operating microscope to guide diagnosis and treatment. Ask your dentist if a root canal specialist is right for you. Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre.
Well, Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre giving us big plays of the game and or big moments in our wrestling duel. And tonight, a big effort turned in by Chevelle Brackey for foreshadowing. This isn't the last time we're going to talk about what Chevelle did tonight here in this post game, but a real upset. I don't have Chevelle's record on the season, but she gets a win by fall over a really good Mitchell wrestler in Frankie Kranz, who was 21-7 coming in, a state tournament qualifier for a couple of years now. And Chevelle Brackey just has kind of come up and taken that 115-pound weight class by storm for the Pierre Governor girls, and was just able to, it was back and forth for a while, but then you get into that second period, late first period, early second period, and Chevelle just kind of managed and dominated that match. And, it turns up roses with a 2-minute and 58-second win by fall. That was a big play of the game, or a big moment of the night when maybe a lot of folks weren't really expecting it outside of that Governor girls wrestling room. So that's one big play of the game from Hermanson Endodontics tonight. And then for the boys, after the technical fall victory for Mitchell at 106, Daniel Mason comes up with a big pinch. Isles Auble gets into that varsity lineup. He gets a win by fall. It's the offense, I think, that we were talking about, but certainly Walker West with a big moment tonight of his own. When we were talking about that with Coach Lewis, Walker West's first time beating Noah Bennett this season, maybe in 2 seasons. And as the coach mentioned, he reversed the records, but he said if they can get him one more time, perhaps in Yankton, maybe they get seeding criteria. I think we can go with that Walker West moment as being a big moment of the evening for the Governor boys, as they did win 12 weight classes in a row. But those are your big plays of the game, of course, sponsored by Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre. And we've got players of the game to talk about, your outstanding wrestlers tonight. They're sponsored by Cowboy Country Stores of Pierre and Fort Pierre. Your players of the game are next after this from Cowboy Country Stores.
Anytime is a good time for Cowboy Country Stores in Pierre and Fort Pierre. Fill up your tank and your stomach. Fresh baked pastries, coffees, regular and breakfast pizzas, Camp's chicken, and more. Feed the family while on the go. Then treat yourself to soft serve ice cream in cones and dishes. Convenience with a capital C. Cowboy Country Stores, Euclid Avenue and Harrison Avenue in Pierre and in Fort Pierre.
Cowboy Country Stores players of the game, and for us, it was pretty much a no-brainer. Chevelle Brackey, the sophomore for the Pierre Governors for the girls, that upset win over Frankie Kranz by fall, 2 minutes and 58 seconds. And Cameron Larson with a nice win by fall. Abby Lewis got a major decision win over a real good wrestler in Taylor DeYoung. That was a great matchup. Also had a great matchup with Gemma Stanglin and Danny Borgia. That Borgia won 14-13, but it was Chevelle Brackey who raised all the eyebrows tonight with her win by fall over Frankie Kranz tonight. So Chevelle Brackey gets a T-shirt noting her accomplishments, as does John Calda and I discussed, and we're going with Damon Horsley tonight, a 4-0 win over Samari Wright, as Coach Lewis called him, but the 4-0 win for Horsley, who we mentioned earlier, record-wise, probably didn't have the seeding advantage over Wright for the Region 3A coming up, but after that 4-0 win tonight, Damon Horsley on senior night getting a big moment for himself, and he'll be our player of the game. Walker West obviously had a huge moment himself, as we were talking about, but he did have a player of the game T-shirt in our last Governor broadcast with a big win over a T-area opponent earlier in this season. So Damon Horsley and Chevelle Brackey are players of the game, the outstanding wrestlers tonight, who will get T-shirts noting their accomplishments. Both Governor girls and boys win. Girls 64-15 and the boys 64-11. So Yankton Invitational is coming up this weekend, and both Mitchell and Pierre teams will be there, boys and girls alike. And then, of course, as we talk about the postseason coming up, girls have the ESD tournament, which will be hosted by Brandon Valley 1 week from tonight. That's where they will be. The Governor boys will then be in the state dual tournament here at Riggs High Gym, and their first match will be either at 11 o'clock or at 12:30, and I believe it'll be at 11 o'clock if they're going to be either the 4 or the 5 seed. And if they win that one, then they'll wrestle. Well, their second wrestling match, a duel, would be at 2 o'clock, and we'll have 3 duels, hopefully, unless they go 0-2 to start the day, and they won't have a 7th-place match in that case. But then we do invite you to join us for state duel tournament coverage here on River 92.7. That is Saturday, February 14th, starting, let's say, for now, until we hear otherwise, we would have an 11 o'clock pregame on that one. And coverage of the Region 3A tournament for the boys will be on KGFX AM on February 21st, rather, and then the following weekend, full tournament coverage of the state wrestling tournament for boys and girls in Sioux Falls, 26th, 27th, and 28th of February on KGFX, stations of DRG Media Group. For Mitchell fans heading back and for anybody on the road, the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds us, don't veer for deer. Slow down, stay alert, and buckle up, too. You've got some place to be. It starts with you, says the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety. I want to thank Kayla Brozick and for doing the camera videoing for Live Ticket. You can rewatch this through the Governor's, the GoGov's live YouTube feed, and also for Jordan Blaze running the show in studio for John Calda and for Coach Sean Lewis as well. I'm Brian Oakland as the Governors defeat Mitchell girls and boys wrestling tonight. Wishing you a good evening. You've been listening to Pierre Governor Wrestling on your official voice of the Governors, River 92.7 and drgnews.com. By the way, our next broadcast of Governor Sports comes Saturday when the Governor girls basketball team hosts the T-Area Titans. Will be on the air at 2:30 Saturday here on River 92.7. Good evening, everybody.